And good afternoon and welcome to Emory-Henry College Football on 90.7 WEHC, your college and community station. Today we join you just above the Lou Wacker press box and overlooking Fred Self Athletic Stadium's nice Wonder Field for today's Old Dominion Athletic Conference tussle for the aforementioned Wasps as they get to face the visiting Quakers from Guilford College. I'm Josh Floyd, play-by-play commentator, and it's good to have you back on a second straight Friday afternoon as part of this spring campaign. Whether you're hard at work listening to us or whether you've already audibled into an early weekend, whatever you are or wherever you are, we're glad you're with us. And to my right, well, he's never audible to broadcast. He's always in the 3-point or 4-point stance for Emory-Henry football. We're talking, of course, to color commentator Gary Lester. And Gary, 2 up and 2 down there for the Wasps, who find themselves at 2-0, tied atop the ODAC standings alongside Hampton, Sydney, and Randolph-Macon, who are both off this week. Today, a win by Emory-Henry will propel them into being the lone 3-0 team heading into this weekend, which is an important step given the unique characteristics surrounding this spring season and the drive to an ODAC crown.
Yeah, Josh, they're riding high right now, and part of that, or a big part of that, is the defense that this Wasps team has put out there on the field. They enter this third week of the season, as you said, 2-0, and this strong and ferocious defense that Coach Tommy Buzzo has put out there on the field has certainly had paid some dividends, along with some very talented transfer skilled players that showed their wares last week in the second half. The Wasps last week, as you know, they struggled to a 14-7 halftime lead before coming out in that third quarter and unleashing a wealth of talent and building up a 34-14 third quarter lead. And Josh, we talked about that as they went in. They failed to score on a drive, and we thought the momentum had gone over to Southern Virginia. But boy, the Wasps came out with an unusual third quarter and scored 20 points in that third quarter. They tacked on 2 more touchdowns in that second quarter, and the defense took over, and they just squeezed the life out of Southern Virginia for the second win of the season.
Yeah, Gary, you look at if you've got a deck of cards, the first one that you go to is what's been your ace in the hole, and Wasp, you can go to that ace in the hole right now. It's defense, defense, defense. It
is. It's the rook card, if you want to call it that. I don't play poker, but I have played some rook before. But this defense has been outstanding this spring, Josh. They are averaging 12 yards a game in rushing, giving up 12 yards a game rushing. That's an average. They have already accumulated 13 sacks. They lead the ODAC there for a whopping 107 yards of loss, which, of course, we know that impacts the number of yards you give up in a rushing game. But what it does for me, it tells me that we've got a tenacious rushing defense with only 12 yards averaging, and we've got an outstanding and relentless pursuit of that quarterback in the passing game. And, I'm going to talk more about this defense and this front four that Coach Newsom, Coach Buzzo are putting out there, but that has been really their calling card.
It definitely has. And meanwhile, Gary, a little bit on, we've talked about this a little bit more is, the offense right now still trying to find themselves early on.
Yeah, they are. And if you look at the whole ODAC conference, you'll see there's really no one's really playing lights out offense. Macon, Sydney, no one is playing lights out offense, and neither are the Wasps either. And it's a struggle right now. Thank goodness we have some talented skill players, because you would be hard pressed if you looked at the stats for Emory to find a long and consistent drive. It's been big plays for them that's made the difference. And we're running out of time, as we talked about. This is a short season, and Coach Newsom really wants to find some consistency with that offense, and the clock's ticking on that. And so we'll talk a little bit more about that later on. But, the offense always struggles first. It's like someone said, you can get a linebacker to hit somebody no matter what. You can pick them out, in December. You can pick them out in March. You can pick them out in September. Throwing the football in an RPO offense takes a lot of syncing and synchronization and timing, and that's just not there yet for the Wasps. But, speaking of a good chance today to get that started, is this Guilford Quakers comes to town after a 44-0 loss up in Ashland to Randolph-Macon a couple of weeks ago. But they've had their struggles this year, and I know you're going to talk about that because you had a chance to talk with their head coach this past week.
Absolutely. Look forward to do that. And, Gary, going back to the spring season, a lot of developments took place, within a week. Big opt-out, and that when a team opts out and they're on your schedule, boy, that throws everything a little bit out of whack.
It sure does. W&L has opted out for the season due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and I know Coach Newsom is really not happy about that, because that puts him in a really awkward position with only 3 games this season. If they win today, though, the Wasps could be 3-0, and they could nail down that number 1 seed on this side of the ledger. And if they do that, that could leave them in a good spot. But that then goes to some of the tiebreaker criteria. And, Josh, that is a little bit complicated, no doubt, right?
It is. You look at everything. You've got to look at not only, of course, your wins and losses, but you've got to look at, also the biggest thing area that these teams are looking at right now would be point differential. We're talking right now the 3 leaders, Emory, Hampton-Sydney, and Randolph-Macon. So it's not if you win, but how much you win by. So, the old adage, it's like it's not how, it's how many, like an old golf adage. And so it's the same thing on the football field. It's the number of points. And right now, all 3 are very, very close to each other, within about 5 or 6 points in terms of differential. We were adding this up at the beginning of the broadcast. Joe Matthews, Sports Information Director, said that Emory is second in that list right now. The first team right now is Hampton-Sydney, because they've got a couple of shutouts. And then right there, right after Emory, will be Randolph-Macon. So really, there's a lot up in the air. So not only are you looking, if you're Emory, you're wanting to win, you've got to look at your points too as well, because Hampton-Sydney and Randolph-Macon both play games next week in which they will be favorable to win. So, Gary, we talk about who the crossover game might be. We have a better idea, I think, but we're not quite there yet, right?
Yeah, we're not quite there. There's still more games to be played on the other side of the ledger, but right now it looks like it could be one of our old foes, either the Macon crowd or the Sydney group, and with them playing at the last, we won't know until they play the very last game of the season on a Saturday at 1 o'clock. And so that, we're just going to be in limbo since we got a bye week next week. We don't have the W&L game. We've got to sit on our hands for, like 3 weeks. And going back to that point differential, I just want to mention one thing, Josh. Coach Newsom had told me, he said, a lot of people may have said, why are we letting Talik Steele throw the ball when we got a, 30-some point lead last week? It was that reason alone to score some more points. He hit Deontay Jordan for a touchdown. And the point differential is going to be the deciding factor.
Well, when we talk about point differential, Gary, going back to the big question, right now, Wasps offense, again, showing some flares of pizzazz, but then there's some inconsistency there. So, what's going on there, and how can Emory get this back to a more consistent focus now?
Well, that's a good question, and I think the whole offensive coaching staff, along with Newsom, are trying really to answer some questions here. First of all, the RPO offense has always been Newsom's, that has been his trademark. They have run that since he came to Emory and Henry. But you have to sometimes ask, does it still make sense in the sense that it's pure RPO? And I think right now, because the Wasps have so much talent, I don't know if they've ever had this much talent in the backfield. You've, of course, got Grayson Overstreet, one of the best backs in all of D3 football. But you also have T.J. Tester, who had a great season a year ago. And then we have Deontay Jordan, who is another running back with a lot of talent, who's one of the transfers I mentioned earlier. He's got more talent back there than he maybe has ever had. So the question is for the Wasps, how do you get all 3 of those out on the field at the same time? Newsom does not like to be on offense and see T.J. Tester and Jordan standing beside him, because he feels like they ought to be out there, which brings us to this 2-back scheme that they're trying to. We saw some of it last week with T.J. Tester and Jordan in there with Overstreet, and then they were in there without Overstreet. And the play calling and execution of this 2-back scheme right now has not been very good. Last week we saw them bump into each other. There was a fumble caused. One time both backs flared out for a pass. One of them was supposed to take a handoff. So the execution's not been what it should be, and I think there's going to be some conversation in the offseason is how do we incorporate all this talent, run this RPO offense, and still get that, 2-back look that we're looking for.
And you've mentioned Grayson Overstreet being a key part of this Emory offense, but he can't be the only option right now for Emory, right?
No, he can't. He ran 32 times 2 weeks ago up at Ferrum, and you just can't endure. No back can endure a 30 game, 30 rushes per game for a season, and that's not going to be the answer. And I know that Newsome knows that, and that's why he's talking about this two-back scheme to try and take some of that pressure. But the other thing he's talking about is, Josh, and this is really something else, the average yard per pass for the Wasps this year is 6.4 yards. That is not going to be acceptable for you cannot win in college football with a 6.4 yard passing average, because what happens is they can roll the safeties up because they're not afraid of the deep pass, and they put more men in the box. You go to Overstreet, he can't handle the extra men. We can't block all those people. We get outnumbered. But you have no long game to keep those safeties back. So Newsome wants to see more length on these passes. He wants more downfield action. I think we're going to see some of that, today. Hopefully, I think they're going to look at that. But it's kind of funny. It's, you talk about unintended consequences. This certainly is one of those where you get all this talent. How am I going to get it all in there? And at the same time incorporate it into something I really believe in, which is that RPO offense. And that's kind of what they're struggling with. And I think they're in the offseason. There's going to be a lot of conversations with this offensive coaching staff.
Meanwhile, on the other side, boy, Tommy Buzzo's got to have Unisom. I mean, this defensive group right now, boy, he's having some nice evenings, watching this game film. Boy, he's got to be on cloud nine right now, right?
Yeah, Coach Buzzo's having no trouble getting some sleep at night, and why not? I mean, this defense is playing lights out. Given their past two performances, so you kind of want to know, what's next. Last week we saw the defense do an outstanding job of shutting down some talented receivers for Southern Virginia, but man, oh man, did they ever put those corners on islands out there.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Buzzo is trying to figure out, can we do that and play that man-to-man off of defense and let my other 9 guys wreak havoc on the field. And I think what the maturation of this Wasp defense into next year is going to be, how can I disguise the defense? It's knowing full well I can play great man-to-man defense with my corners, but how can I disguise that? Sometimes I'm in that, drop back into cover 2, play those corners into flats, or go back to a cover 4 or cover 3. And I think that's going to be the key, is how they mature into that. And speaking of luxury of maturing, and you've got a front 4 with Penix and Chambliss and Swagmeyer and Bear, that bunch. Coach Newsome told me this week, Josh, and I thought this was amazing. He thinks they may be better than last year's front 4, and that included
high praise.
It is 2 preseason All-Americans in Fleener and Keith that have graduated. So we'll see about this defense, but that is something that they are really, really pleased with. So, and today they're facing a team that did not score last week or 2 weeks ago, 44-0 against Macon. But you had a chance to talk with Brad Davis, the coach there, and I think there's something more to that, right?
It is, and first of all, congratulations goes out to Brad Davis. What a 6 month of trip it's been for him. He played for 4 years at Guilford in mid-2000s when they're starting to get their footing in the conference. He has 12 years as an assistant coach, promoted to assistant head football coach in 2019. And then when Coach Rusevich left the institution in the fall, Brad Davis was first named interim on October the 2nd, and then the interim dropped from his title 2 months later. And then, here's the spring season. So, I mean, it's just gone, stepwise, it's just gone just amazingly for Brad in terms of his, elevation to the coaching area. And enjoyed talking with him on Wednesday this week. He's dealing with challenges like they all are, and during this time, he's saying every coach in Division III wishes you had more time in practicing. He thinks they're doing a good job in that. And I asked him what's the difference between the head coach and being the assistant. He goes, well, you're watching the whole team now. It's not just one position. You're looking at the whole thing so far. But getting back to their game 2 weeks ago where they and they lost 44-0, they had 87 yards. They allowed 312 yards. They only had 7 first downs. And as an Emory fan, you're thinking, golly, this is amazing. Well, folks, there's a lot more to the story. And here's the rest of the story.
Yeah, what is the rest of it?
The rest of the story is they did have unfortunately, they did have a COVID positive on the offensive line. And the policy says that if one position player is out, then that entire team is, that entire component is filled to have, contact tracing.
Yeah.
So for precautions, they set the entire offensive line out. So he went into the Randolph-Macon game. He was teaching defensive linemen how to play offensive linemen. And I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're Emory and Henry or Randolph-Macon. When you don't have your starting 5 or starting 6 up there, you're going to struggle.
Yeah.
So, thankfully everybody is okay. That's the first and foremost major part of this. But the part is that he's back to full strength, and he wants to ensure that the kids are staying positive. And by doing this, we're going to see a lot of Jermaine Russell today. Second team all ODAC receiver last year, just under 1,000 yards. They really need for him to get involved in this offense. I've asked him about it, and he says he wants Jermaine to be a leader. He says he knows the defense is keying on him. His role is to do what he's coached to do, running right routes. And the main thing that they've been preaching this week, Gary, ball security. They had several turnovers. Randolph-Macon actually started 5 of its scoring drives inside Guilford's 35. And again, when the other team is starting at midfield on average, again, you're going to be at a disadvantage, again, no matter the matchup. Yeah. So keep that in mind. Guilford's back at full strength. Certainly you expect their offense to click a lot better than what they did 2 weeks ago. I really do.
Well, Josh, let me ask something. I watched that film with Randolph-Macon and Guilford. They used 2 different quarterbacks.
They did.
Did he say anything about who's going to be at the signal calling duty today?
Well, right now on the 2 deep, Teddy Gassert, the sophomore, will start, but we certainly expect to see junior Caden Phillips. The Wasps have seen both as well, and he's going to continue. Coach Davis is going to continue to use this 2-back system. He feels like both Gassert and Phillips bring things to the table. They make smart decisions, and he talked about the offenses. They're struggling a little bit right now. So, on drives today, they want to put the best 11 out there. So they're going to start with Gassert. We might see Phillips a little bit. Mm-hmm. Whoever has the hot end, maybe that's who they stick with out there. So that's what we're going to be seeing today when we talk about this group of Quakers. Gary, before we pause for the national anthem, I want to throw it back to you before we go over that in starting lineups. I know you had a chance to talk with Coach Newsom a little bit, and what is the number one thing that's nagging him right now?
Well, nag is that inconsistent offense. He well knows that it's been the big play, offensive plays that has done the job for him, and he's really concerned about getting some consistency on this offense and lengthening this passing game. And really and truly, we may see the 2-back scheme be put on hold today. We may be going back to old Emory. If it's not Overstreet, it's Tester. If it's not Tester, it's Jordan, just the 1-back. Another thing he wants to do today is, instead of maybe that 2-back scheme, he wants to put Tester and Jordan out in the slot. And, man, I got to tell you, Josh, if I'm a defensive coordinator, I don't want to see Jordan out there in the slot. Mm-mm. My goodness, he ran back that kickoff return last week and scored 2 other touchdowns, and he is the real deal. As far as the defense goes, he's, just keep doing what they're doing. He's really in love with that front 4. But as far as the WNL, that is a real big disappointment. He has tried to find other games to play, but that's not been very fruitful and doesn't look like it's going to happen. But then the other thing, back to the defense, he wants to see a little bit less man-to-man on the corners, a little more zone. He felt like, we've proven we can play man-to-man defense. Let's back up in that zone, keep our eyes in the backfield, and look at that quarterback.
Well, again, we'll get into the starting lineups, and we'll talk a little bit about the ODAC game tonight and some keys to this one. And again, we will continue to go through the lineups. We'll pause here momentarily for the national anthem, but we'll start with the visiting Guilford Quakers, led by first-year coach Brad Davis. 0-1 in the season, 0-1 in the ODAC. They will start again, we mentioned, with the quarterback, number 16, Teddy Gassert, the sophomore out of Peachtree Corners, Georgia, Norcross High School. Running back will be number 28, the sophomore, Cameron Hutchinson. Hutchinson's 5'11", 215 out of Havelock, North Carolina. We talked about Jermaine Russell, the big one in the wideout format, the senior, 5'7", 170 out of Durham, North Carolina. Another wideout will be number 15, DJ Kirkland, the junior out of Elon, North Carolina. And the other wideout will be the sophomore, number 13, Thomas Laws, 5'8", 170 out of Clemens, North Carolina. The Y back will be the junior, number 89, Parker Jackson, 6'1", 225 pounds out of Holly Springs, North Carolina. And we will pause momentarily here for the national anthem. We'll get to the offensive line for Guilford and the defense, and then certainly we will go over the Emory starting group momentarily. And the national anthem brought to us by the wonderful Emory and Henry Marching Band here under the direction of Dr. Matthew Frederick. The offensive line for Guilford will be number 71, Philip Anderson, the senior, 6'1", 285 pounds out of Lexington, South Carolina. The left guard will be number 66, a junior, Carter Wicke, 6', 280 out of Indian Trail, North Carolina. The center will be number 51, Nate Willett, the sophomore, 5'10", 250 out of Havelock, North Carolina. The right guard will be number 50, Brandon Keller, the senior, 6'4", 290 pounds out of Kannapolis, North Carolina. And the right tackle will be number 70, Jordan Lindsay, the 5', 280-pound freshman out of Reedsville, North Carolina. On the front four, the Quakers will institute a 3-4 look. They'll be led by number 67, the senior Jake Morse, 5'10", 275 out of Greensboro. Number 53, the nose guard, will be sophomore Zakia Chambers, I should say, 5'10", 260 out of Candor, North Carolina. And the other tackle will be number 45, James Pegues, the sophomore linebacker, 5'10", 245 out of Bisco, North Carolina. On the inside linebackers, the junior will be number 44, Ty Walker, 5'11", 205 out of King, North Carolina. And the other inside linebacker will be the redshirt junior, number 1, Bryce Smith, 5'9", 205 out of Loganville, Georgia. The outside linebackers will be number 19, Josh Hayward, the sophomore, 6'4", 225 out of Whiteset, North Carolina. And the true freshman, number 43, Malad Agiapour, the true freshman, 5'11", 210 out of Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Handling the safeties will be the senior, Alex Manley, former quarterback at Guilford. He's the senior defensive back out of Tobaccoville, North Carolina. On the other end, the corner will be the junior Khalil Miller, 6'2", 205 out of Thomasville, North Carolina. The safety will be the senior, number 26, Tyler Wilson, 5'7", 155 out of Snow Camp, North Carolina. And the right corner will be number 20, the junior Skylar Evans, 6'1", 180 junior out of Lincolnton, North Carolina. Handling the special teams will be the sophomore, number 86, Cade Ratliff. And he will also handle the punting duties. Handling the kick returns and the punt returns will be Jermaine Russell. And that is the starting lineup for the Guilford Quakers. And with the Emory starting lineups, here's Gary.
Okay, thank you, Josh. And let's start off with the offense. We'll look at this offensive line first. I want to start with the center, number 65, Dakota Morris. He is a senior, 6'3", 290 pounds, one of the best in the ODAC. He's from Mount Sidney, Virginia. At the guards, left guard is number 72, Parker Coe. He's a junior, 6'3", 270 out of Wytheville, George Wythe High School. At the right guard, number 56, Preston Robinson. He is a junior, 6'2", 340 out of Moxville, North Carolina. And at the tackles, the left tackle, number 63, Sean Watkins, is a sophomore. He's 6'4", 250 pounds out of Bristol, Virginia. And the other tackle is the right tackle, number 79, Ricky Dobson. He is a sophomore, 6'7", 315 out of Front Royal, Virginia. At the tight end is number 46, Landon Moore, a freshman out of Arcadia, North Carolina. He's 6'1", 210 pounds. And let's go to the wide receivers, 3 of them. Number 4, Elijah Rice, had a big game last week, some big catches. He is a difference maker. Number 4, junior, 5'8", 180 pounds out of Myrtle Beach, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. The other wide receiver, number 2, Kashawn Cozy, a junior, 5'4", 135 pounds out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. And the other wide receiver, number 16, he's a senior, Gunnar Griffith, 5'11", 175 pounds out of Bluff City, Tennessee. At the running backs, well, we've talked about that before. We could see Grayson Overstreet. We could see T.J. Tester. We might see both of them. We might see Mr. Jordan. Grayson Overstreet is a sophomore, 6'2", 220 out of Moneta, Virginia. And then the quarterback, number 1, Hunter Taylor, senior, 6', 195 pounds out of Somerville, South Carolina. And that's the offense, Josh. And let me quickly go through this defense. I've talked about this defensive line. The 2 defensive ends, number 97, DeAndre Chambliss, is a senior out of Chattanooga, Tennessee, 6', 230 pounds. Number 9 is the other defensive end, Jay Swigmeyer, sophomore, 6'4", 250 out of Orlando, Florida. And the 2 tackles, number 92, Caleb Bear, a junior, 6'1", 265 out of Bluff City, Tennessee. And then defensive player of the week last week, number 99, Donovan Penick. He's a junior, 5'10", 240 pounds out of Eden, North Carolina. At the linebackers, well, we've got number 27 back, Ivan Phillips. He's that junior out of Dobbins-Bennett High School in Kingsport, Tennessee. He's a junior. He's 6'1", 210 pounds. And at the other linebacker will be number 20, Brent Butler, a junior, 5'8", 210 pounds out of Roanoke, Virginia. At the corners, we talked about these corners playing this man. We'll probably see it again today, and they've got their work cut out with them for him with Russell. But number 1, Jalen Crimes, a junior, 5'10", 165 out of Sharps, Virginia. And then number 3, Dalton Wilson, junior, 5'11", 165 pounds out of Clinton, Tennessee. Free safety, number 7, Ryan Gibson, a sophomore out of Bristol, Tennessee. And the 2 safeties, the strong side safeties, number 6, Deontay Geddes. He's a junior, 5'5", 195 pounds out of Summerville, North Carolina. And the weak side safety, Zyquise Law, he's number 8, a junior, 6'2", 190 pounds out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Special teams, Josh, the kicking will be number 49, Zach Baber. He's a sophomore out of Reidsville, North Carolina. The punting will be handled by number 13, Evan Muncie. He is a sophomore out of Bluff City, Tennessee. The holder, number 46, Landon Moore, that freshman out of Arcadia, North Carolina. The long snapper, number 42, Seth Stanley out of Lebanon High School. And the kick return is Devontae Jordan. Talked about him, number 23, a junior, 5'9", 190 pounds out of Bassett, Virginia. And the other one, kick return, number 5, TJ Tester, a sophomore, 5'9", 185 pound. And the punt returner today would be 85, Jacob Patton, a senior out of Kingsport, Tennessee. And that's the lineup, Josh.
One ODAC game, Gary, to speak of tonight, Bridgewater. Their first loss last week in over 16 regular season games. They lost to Randolph-Macon. So the Eagles, 1-1 overall, 0-1 in the ODAC. They will travel to Ferrum to take on a Ferrum team that's not played since a 17-0 loss to this Emory and Henry team 2 weeks ago. A lot of questions into that one.
Yeah, there sure are. And see what takes place down in Rocky Mount tonight. I have a feeling that Mike Clark and Bridgewater are going to have a little chip on their shoulder after losing to Macon.
Yeah, I'd hate to face Clark and the Eagles after a loss. Gary, today, let's not talk about losses. What's Emory got to do to win this one today?
Well, it all comes down to the offense. Defensively, we're just going to keep doing what we've been doing. A lot of man-to-man by those corners, pressure by that front 4. But offensively, here's the things. Consistent offense, boy, we really need that because, like we talked about, this may be the last game of the regular season for the Wasps. They're running out of time. Better utilization of the skilled players. We don't need to see 2 of them sitting over beside Newsom. And then let's get Hunter Taylor on track. He really has not been in sync and on track yet. And so that's my keys to the Wasps' victory.
I think if you're Guilford, you got to force Emory into 3rd and long. One of the things that stands out in that Macon thing, they only held Macon to 3.7 yards a carry. And when you hold Macon under 4 yards a carry, you're doing something. Again, we talked about that defense. They stopped actually. Macon had a couple of drives start inside the Guilford red zone, and they actually stopped them and held them to field goals. So I think if you're Guilford today, you've got to do that. As Emory and Henry has won the toss, they have deferred to the second half. I think they've also got to flip the field. We talked about this in the pregame, Gary.
Yeah.
If your opposing team is starting at the average at midfield, they only got half a field to work with. I mean, that's just not going to get it done. So I think, what they've got to do today, they've got to make Emory go 70, 80, and 90 yards. Macon last week only had 2 drives above 48 yards. So that's the big thing. And I think the last thing is I think they've got to get Russell out there in the flat. This Guilford team, when they had those playmakers and they had Derek Bell and those guys like that and Vogelback, it was screen, screen, screen. Get the ball out in the flat, get your blockers out there. I expect now with your offensive line back, that's what you're going to see a lot more of today out of this group.
Well, Josh, you talk about that short field that Macon had all game 2 weeks ago. When you're a defensive coordinator and you got a short field like it, you got to play perfect defense. And we've talked about the spring is a lot of rust on these programs, and it's hard to play perfect defense. I don't care if you're on the 10-yard line or 20-yard line, but you start talking about the 30 and 35 every time. That's tough.
Yeah, it's tough, and really it's you're giving them an impossible task.
Yep.
You're just giving them. There's no way that anybody's going to sustain that, and especially against a good team like Randolph-Macon.
Yeah.
And we are just set here. It's an overcast Friday afternoon, some drizzle in the air, probably upper 50s, low 60s here. Good crowd on hand for some Friday afternoon football. We're glad you're joining us here today. And we're set for the kick. And Zach Baber, good to see him back. He was out last week due to illness. It's a short kick. Guilford's going to have to come up, get it at the 28-yard line, and does so. Nice nice aggressive play there by Kamari Norman, the junior wideout. Took it at the 28, spun backwards, and then accelerated to the 42. So already Guilford looks a whole lot different out there as they start things with good field position at their own 42.
Well, Josh, the Wasps, you're going to see that little pooch kick down to about the 30, 35-yard line. What they're trying to do is get the opposing team to call for a fair catch and eliminate any kind of run back. That time it didn't work.
The Quakers will start with Gassert. He'll be in the gun. He'll have one back to his right. 3 receivers in the formation. Russell is the short side left on 1st and 10 from the 42. Gassert will give it right to the handoff, short run up the middle. This is something Guilford didn't do a whole lot of 2 weeks ago. Only about 17 yards rushing. Short carry up to about the 42, maybe the 43 there by Tyler Wilson.
Yeah, and that front four, again, showing its strength there. Penick and Bear in on that tackle.
Here, correction, that was Cameron Hutchinson on that run there for Guilford. Guilford really trying to get out there and go here on 2nd down and 9. Gassert will be in the gun with 3 wide again. Emery the front 4. He will throw. Gassert drops back under pressure. Now steps up in the pocket. He will go down, and there's a flag. This is going to go against Guilford as well, as there was a hold back on Swegheimer as well, but Gassert's dropped for a yard loss.
Yeah, Swegheimer would have had his 7th, 8th sack of the season had he not been wrestled down to the ground, but the white hat caught that, and that's going to go back.
Coach Newsom is not sending back Soup. He wants that penalty. He was pointing the whole way, so he pushes it back to the 27. And
excuse me.
Yeah, go ahead,
I mean,
Gary.
you put this, Guilford, this is exactly what they want to do. 2nd, 3rd, and long, and now we've got 3rd and 20.
Yeah, 2nd and 20.
Yeah, 2nd and 20, excuse me.
They'll go 4 wide, do the Quakers this time. And again, they will go with Gassert in the gun on 2nd and 20 from back to the 32. Gassert drops back. Blitz comes up the middle. Gassert gets it away. Throws down the middle of the field, and he had a receiver wide open down the flat. He was looking for the Eric Mays, who had sprung free. And if that ball is there, it's a touchdown.
Yeah, number 35, Addison nicely in on the coverage. Just there's kind of a double move there. Plenty of time for that quarterback, and boy, he broke into the free because the defensive back for the Wasps bit on that first move and wide open.
Boy, the Quakers did a good job of that offensive line picking up the blitz, and boy, it gave Gassert enough time. Thankfully, the Wasps have it go incomplete. It brings up 3rd and 20. Now the Wasps will drop 8 in coverage here, 3 down linemen. Gassert drops back. Gassert steps up, almost gets sacked. Gets it away, flips it out in the flat, and with room out there in the flat, up to midfield, but just short of the 1st down and running out of bounds. It was like a shovel pass out there to, I believe, Hutchinson, but Hutchinson is just short of the 1st down. He picked up 17 of the 20, and the Quakers, at least from the outset, look like they're going to bring the punting unit out.
Yeah, it's going to be 4th at their own 49-yard line, but they caught the Wasp breaking back and deep in the zone and flipped it underneath. Good play by the Quakers.
At least at the outset, they will send out the punting unit with Ratliff on 4th and 3 from the 49. Snap is very low, and Ratliff gets it away. Nice kick. It's going to send Rice back to his own 7-yard line as he makes the fair catch. So a nice punt there by Garrett. That's almost a 47-yarder, and most importantly, it puts Emory back at their own 8.
You know, Josh, one of the things Wasps worked on this week, and I know you watched that film, we talked about the offensive line being out for COVID, but the snaps for Guilford were not good. A couple of them rolled back there, one over their head. The Wasps worked a lot this week. They're going to try. I expect sometime during this game we're going to see an all-out blitz trying to block that punt.
Boy, and good job by the Quakers there. They got a 1st down, and they moved the sticks a little bit, and this is what they needed to do. Make Emory go 92 yards, as Emory will start from their own 8. 2 backs for Taylor. Play action. Throws over the middle. Pass is almost intercepted. Gunnar Griffith thought he got bumped. Here comes the flag. It was nearly intercepted by Khalil Miller, and the reason why is because Gunnar Griffith was pushed at about the 18, actually knocked off his whole route by Miller.
A little bit of hesitation by that back judge, but Gunnar Griffith was knocked down. But, you know, sometimes I think they think it's incidental contact, but the ball was in the air, and he would have made the catch had he not been brought to the ground.
So the interference call will move the football out from the shadows of the Emory end zone to the south end zone to our left. And this will move the pass interference call all the way up to the Emory and Henry 23-yard line.
in that two-back set right now, and the Wasps have Grayson Overstreet, and they also have, well, let me see if I can find it, but no, it's just a one back. They have their tight end in, and he was in the back. Sorry, folks.
That's okay. We also have one of the things that we will also discuss too is that the Wasps here going here with the short side of the field here on first down, and we'll call it at the 23. Taylor with play action rolls right to the short side of the field and just throws it away. Rolling the whole way, and he was chased the whole way by number 49. That was James Pegues. Just throws that in the crowd incomplete.
Well, I think they were looking to fake that handoff, that speed sweep to Grayson Overstreet, and get Gunnar Griffith on a fly pattern down the sideline, and he was just well covered that time by ex-Wasp Alex Manley.
Manley, who actually was at quarterback for the Quakers for a couple of years, transitioning over to the cornerback role there for the Quakers. Brings up second down, and we'll call it, actually, they've spotted the ball at the 18. Taylor gives it to Grayson Overstreet off left tackle. Spins forward, does Grayson to the 20, dives forward to about the 21 and the 22. It'll be a gain of about 4. And that's been the diet against Overstreet here the last few weeks, is everybody in the box, not a whole lot of running room for the sophomore.
No, and you see those safeties come creeping up, and now third and long, they'll stay back because it is a passing situation. But with Overstreet, it's never has to be a passing situation.
Third down and almost a long 7 here for the Wasps, just outside their own 22. 3 wide for the Wasps. It'll be Taylor in the gun. One back to his left, that's Overstreet. They'll go to the counter to Overstreet on third and long. Cuts forward, and a nice open field tackle made out there by Bryce Smith at the 25-yard line, and that's going to put Emory in a 3 and out. So the Wasps tried to counter against the rush from the left side. Nice job by Bryce Smith, one of the leading tacklers for this Quaker group. And the Quakers, got to say, job well done there, 3 and out.
Yeah, and I think one of the things the Quakers want to do here is kind of keep this thing close early and just prove to themselves after the Randolph-Macon game that we are a good football team and we can play with Emory.
Jermaine Russell stands at his own 35. First punt on the day, bobbled, and then Muncie barely gets it away. Russell has a chance to return, stumbles, goes to the right side. Here comes the flag, and this is going to go against the Quakers. Boy, Russell makes 5 Wasps miss before he's finally tackled at the 41-yard line by Addison nicely. But this is going to be the 3rd penalty coming up against the Quakers.
Yeah, that was a shaky punt right there. It bobbled the snap and almost got it blocked, but good coverage that time. Even though he broke 5 tackles, it was one right after another. There's plenty of yellow jerseys down there. It looks like we've got a push in the back here by the Quakers.
We do. Actually, it will be push in the back, legal block in the back. While we have a break in the action, I want to tell you that Emory & Henry football is underwritten by Food City, where you'll find value every day, locally owned and operated for more than 90 years with over 135 convenient locations. Food City is a proud sponsor of Emory & Henry College football.
And we're also brought to you by First Bank and Trust. They offer mobile banking, Apple Pay, remote deposits, and so much more. They've been serving the community with free checking since 1979, and they are a member of the FDIC. And you can visit them on the web at firstbank.com.
40-yard punt there. Nice job by Muncie to get that away.
Sure was.
And then after the flag, puts Guilford all the way back its own 26. So Guilford already with 3 infractions here in the first 4 minutes. 11:56 to go in the first quarter. No score. Gassert will stay in the gun on 1st and 10. Gassert's going to be the option pitch, who has room to the short side as Hutchinson, and a nice open field tackle by Dalton Wilson. That's a tough job by Wilson, having to go for the knees there. Did a good job there to try to stop Hutchinson for a 4-yard gain.
Well, it's a good job of him coming off, of Wilson coming off that man-to-man coverage, because they're up there right in their grill again, and he's got to get rid of that receiver who's turned into a blocker and come up and drop that for a 3-yard gain.
Safety has to come up. You have to go for the knees and lower there to try to stop. 2nd and 6 for the Quakers at own 29. 4 wide for Gassert. He'll throw. Gassert with time. Now he won't have any time anymore as he's dropped in the backfield by DeAndre Chambliss with his first sack of the game.
Well, the sack crew tacks another one. Caleb Bear in on that too, and Chambliss. So there's their first sack of the game. Like I said, they're leading the conference, 13 sacks all told for a minus 107 yards.
Backs up the Quakers into 3rd and 12 now at their own 24. 10:56 and counting in the opening quarter, no score. Guilford on its second offensive possession. They'll go 4 wide again. 1 receiver to the top of the field, 3 to the left side. Gassard will be in the gun. Hutchinson to his right on 3rd and 12. Gassard ready for the snap. Gassard drops back, 3-man rush. Gassard throws off his back foot and the pass on the way up. Pass is intercepted by Ryan Gibson. That was an open shot there by Eric Mays, but the ball floated, and Ryan Gibson makes the pick at midfield.
Well, hey, last week Ryan Gibson, by the way, we have the cam on the sideline now. I know a lot of people mentioned that about how much they like it. But Ryan Gibson had that one go through his hands last week for a touchdown. So a little bit of redemption there for Ryan Gibson, breaking on that ball and playing center field. Great interception, gives the Wasps tremendous field position.
And again, Eric Mays was open there for a moment, but that ball held up, and a nice job by Gibson to make the interception. They'll spot it at the Emory 49 as the Wasps go back on offense. They give us to Overstreet, spin move, and he does all he can to get back to the line of scrimmage. And he's dropped on the play by the first linebacker there. I believe coming up was Agiapour there. No gain for Overstreet.
Yeah, almost a loss there if it weren't for Overstreet. But, he was hit as soon as he handed the ball off in the backfield. There's just no room to run right now, and they've got to do something about backing these linebackers up and being outmanned on that offensive line.
No gain. Brings up 2nd and 10 for the Wasps. Their own 49. 10 minutes to go first quarter. Still no score. Taylor, they're going to try to counter this time to Grayson Overstreet. And again, there's Bryce Smith waiting for him. And again, it's no gain. Actually, a generous spot there to give him no gain. There is just nothing right there for the sophomore right now.
Well, the Quakers are winning the line of scrimmage right here, Josh. They are defeating the blocks and waiting on Overstreet. So Wasps going to have to do something to stretch this defense a little bit.
Brings up 3rd and 10 now for the Wasps, and they've not moved since the interception so far. And they'll have to go to the air here on 3rd and 10. Quakers, at least at this point, if you're with 3 down linemen, they'll drop 8 in coverage. Taylor will go to the gun on 3rd and 10. He'll throw. He has time. Taylor looking. Now throws off his back foot. The pass is caught. Nice throw over the middle. The pass is caught by Ethan Muncie at the sticks. It's a first down at the 40.
Ethan Muncie pulling double duty here as our punter and as a wide receiver.
Big first down pickup there for the Wasps. Nice job of Taylor just kind of slinging that across his body. And Muncie right at the sticks there, knew where the first down marker was and got it.
Josh, that time they had multiple receivers in the pattern, and Hunter trying to pick the right one delivers a strike.
That's the advantage of having just a 3-man front. You'll have time. 1st and 10 for the Wasps now. They'll fake the end around. They actually go up to Overstreet, diving forward. Overstreet fighting his way, rolling over defenders. He'll get it down to the 37-yard line. It'll be a gain of 3 on the play. Tackle made for Guilford was James Pegues, the sophomore out of Bisco, North Carolina. He's been all over the place, as have these linebackers for Guilford so far.
Right now, T.J. Tester is in the lineup as that second back, but they've got him in the slot. As Newsom said, they were going to try and do some of that. Expect to see Jordan in there soon. 2nd
and about 7 for the Wasps at the Guilford 37. Pistol formation for Taylor. He'll have time. Throws it out in the flat. There's Tester, like you just mentioned, at the 35. Nice open field tackle. Tester does fall forward at a balance at about the 45-yard line. Nice open field tackle there made by Alex Manley.
Manley coming up quick out of that secondary to shut that down, only a 2 or 3 yard gain. It looked like he was going to go for much further, but Manley doing a fine job for the Quakers today in that secondary.
Brings up 3rd and 5 for Emory now at the Guilford 35. 7:37 to go first quarter. Still no score. Taylor will go to the gun. Bunch formation to the right side. Single receiver left is Rice on 3rd and 5. Taylor drops back. Taylor with time, slings it out there. Rice is wide open at the 25. First down, spin move. Rice still going, and he actually gets back to the line of scrimmage. Here comes a flag, and this may be a face mask, and it probably is because Rice lost his helmet.
Yeah, I think when you take the face mask and pull the helmet off, they're probably going to catch that 9 times out of 10. But, they've got to – now, Rice still has to go out of the game for a play, even though he had his helmet jerked off.
Rice got the first down. He was wide open on the curl route. The cornerback had dropped deep, and Rice easily made the reception and danced around until he finally got tackled at the 25, and this is going to be 15 more tacked onto the end of the play. Down to the the Guilford 13 now. Boy, Guilford right now saddled 4 penalties already in this first quarter. 4 penalties for 45 yards.
Yeah, Devontae Jordan coming into the game, number 23. He's that running back out of Bassett, a transfer from UVA Wise. He's been in the backfield with Overstreet right now. Let's see if they put him in the slot because he is a dangerous pass receiver.
Pistol formation, they have both the aforementioned Jordan as well as Overstreet. Play action. The pitch is to Jordan. Jordan to the 15. Jordan to the 10. Jordan to the 5. Oh, and he's a shoestring tackle away from scoring. Manley saves a touchdown, but it's 1st and goal Emory at the Guilford 2.
Jordan is he's a different kind of runner. He runs underneath his pads a lot better than Overstreet, but boy, he is a hard runner.
Boy, he makes a difference out there. As you mentioned, the junior out of Bassett by way of the transfer from Wise. It'll be 1st and goal for the Wasps. They go I formation here, almost like an offset I at the 2. They give this to Overstreet, off right tackle, boy, nothing doing. The Guilford front line right here winning the war. Bryce Smith, again, the first one there, and it's going to be a loss of 3 back to the 5.
Again, I mean, they're there. It's like we know it's Overstreet, so we're going to key on him.
Now, a loss of 3 for Overstreet, who's have a tough go of it so far. 2nd and goal coming up from Emory at the Guilford 5. 6:17 and counting left to go in the first quarter. Wasp trying to score first in this one.
And Jordan staying in the backfield there. Let's see if Jordan gets the call.
Jordan and Overstreet to either side of Taylor. Play action. Taylor throws over the middle, and it's in and out of the hands. Incomplete. He was looking for the tight end there, Zach Venhorst, but a lot of coverage there over the middle. Getting a hand on it was Ty Walker there in the end zone, falls incomplete.
Hunter trying to thread the needle right there, Josh, and tight end may have been open, but boy, he had to try and squeeze that in there, and it got knocked away.
3rd and goal for Emory now at the Guilford 5. And again, the Quakers excelled at this 2 weeks ago. Randolph-Macon had several drives deep in Guilford territory and had to come away with field goals.
And the Wasps are perfect in the red zone so far this year. They have not yet to be denied the end zone when they've been down here.
Pistol formation for Taylor on 3rd and goal from the Guilford 5. Overstreet is the deep back. Taylor, give us to Overstreet. Off left tackle, dives forward. He's going to get back to about the 3-yard line, but he will be short. And a decision coming up for Emory on 4th and goal from the 3. They will bring out the field goal.
Well, that time Hunter handed the ball off, but Gunnar Griffith was standing underneath the goalpost wide open, Josh. They never did pick him up, and just a bad read there, or wrong read there that time, and that would have been 6 to Gunnar Griffith.
So Zach Baber will come out, the sophomore out of Reidsville, North Carolina. This is basically the equivalency of an extra point, albeit it's slightly off to the left, inside the left hash, to try to give Emory the lead. Snap is down, kick is on the way by Baber, and the kick is good. So with 5:20 to go in this first quarter, Emory and Henry strikes first. They get aided by a couple of 3rd down calls and a big penalty there, but the Quakers do hold inside the red zone. And with 5:20 to go in the first quarter, it is Emory and Henry 3, Guilford nothing.
Well, Ryan Gibson set him up with that interception, Josh, at 50-yard, about around the 50-yard line. Great job by Ryan Gibson to give him a short field, and the Wasps take advantage of it. Saw Jordan come in there that time and make a big play on that option pitch after faking it to Grayson Overstreet. But, boy, the Wasps turned away for the first time this year. Obviously, it's only the 3rd game, but every time they've been in the red zone, they've cashed in. This time they had to settle for a field goal. But like you said, the Quakers turned away the Yellow Jackets several times up in Ashland.
Yeah, they did. Randolph-Macon had several drives inside the 35. One started at the 12 after a fumble, and they went backwards. So Quakers definitely look a whole lot stronger right now, too, in a matter of 2 weeks, and certainly we expected that.
Now, this is something unusual. Coach Newsom has got the offense around him. He's talking to him himself. Like we said at the opening, one of his biggest concerns is this offense, and he's got him down there right now talking with that whole offensive crew.
Baber set to kick, and Emory and Henry leads it 3-0. Russell is the deep man on this play for the Quakers. Baber will kick it away from Russell. It'll go down to one of the up men who fumbles the football, picks it back up at the 17, and then he is dropped at about the 21-yard line. His first man there for Emory on the stop was Logan Tomlinson, the freshman out of Gate City, and fumbling the football and actually going forward was Kamari Norman. It'll be a pickup of about 5 to the Guilford 22, and that's where they'll start things.
You know, Josh, in studying some of the film with the Quakers from their Macon game, Jamari Norman dropped a couple of kicks, and that's one of the things the Wasps have highlighted on their film, and that's one of the reasons you see them kicking it to him, besides the fact they want to do that little pop-up kick.
The Quakers come out 1st and 10 from their own 22. 3 receivers all to the right side, and we've got movement up front. The 5th penalty coming up here against the Quakers in the early going. This time they'll get A.J. DeMossi, who moved before the snap.
Well, again, you know, we've said offenses struggle a little bit first of the season, and this offensive line has not been in there, or certainly this is their first game, and starting to show a little bit. Yeah,
definitely. When you see that often, and now for one of the things you have to notice is for Guilford, it's happened on both sides. 1st and 15 as Hutchinson gets the handoff up the middle. Short gain there. As soon as Gassert gave it out, he was hit, and he get it to Hutchinson. Hutchinson gets only a couple of yards up to the 19-yard line.
Both these teams struggling running the ball right now, Josh. The Quakers had trouble last week, and we know not to wear it out, but that offensive line was one of the issues. But they're having trouble today running.
2nd and 12 now for the Quakers at their own 19. 3 receivers all right. Gassert will be in the gun. Gassert drops back to throw. He's got time. Steps up in the pocket. Floats it over the middle, and the pass is knocked away, and it's almost intercepted. They were looking for Russell on the seam route. Ryan Gibson deflected it, and nearly getting the interception was Deontay Geddes at midfield.
Dalton Wilson came out.
Dalton Wilson, yes.
Yeah, Ryan Gibson, another great play and knocking that out of the hands. That would have been a big gainer for the Quakers. Evidently, Josh, we've seen them go across the middle 3 times now. They have had open receivers. They found something that they want to go to here.
Gassert has just been underthrowing them just a tad there. He overthrew the first one, and now he's underthrown the last couple, the one resulting in an interception. It's going to bring up 3rd and 12 now for the Quakers. 4 wide, and we've got whistles, and I believe the timeout's coming up for Guilford as the delay of game almost took place.
And we see Zyquist Law now coming into the game. He was not in there to start the game. Number 38 for the Wasps was in the lineup for Zyquist. I'm not sure why, but 35, Addison Nicely was there.
Well, we have a break in the action. This is the final day for the WEHC Fall Fundraiser. Again, if you'd like to make a pledge, please call 276-582-0907, or you can go online at WEHCFM.com and select Make a Gift. And your support helps Emory and Henry by providing engineering support, programming costs, fees, and so much more. And it's a non-commercial station. They receive no state or federal support. So, hey, if you like to hear myself, you like to hear Gary Lester talk about the wonderful world that is Emory and Henry football, or tune into some great programming on WEHC, that's a great way to support the station. Again, 276-582-0907 or WEHCFM.com. So after the timeout, the Quakers almost got their 5th penalty of the first quarter, a 6th penalty, I should say, the first quarter. They had to burn a timeout. It brings up 3rd and 12. Gassert will move a man in motion to the left side. Now going back to the right is Purnell. Fumbles the snap. Now Gassert under pressure, throws off his back foot, and the pass is caught, and a short gain as Ivan Phillips was there raiding on the back there. Hutchinson had floated out in the flat, and as soon as he caught it at the 17, he was dropped.
He was dropped, and DeAndre Chambliss and Jay Swagmeyer, all kinds of pressure on the quarterback that time. He was lucky to get that off, and Ivan Phillips just cleaning it up over there. It's not a good feeling to turn around after catching a short pass and see Ivan Phillips steaming your way.
Yeah, I don't want to see that.
No, it's not something I'd want to see.
Ratliff had a pretty good kick his first time out, getting ready to kick. And Elijah Rice staying at midfield, almost blocked. Short kick. It's going to take a Guilford roll and then some. Goes inside the Emory 45, inside the 40, down to the 38-yard line. That's going to end up being about a 46-yard kick. So I've been impressed so far with the sophomore from Guilford.
It's a great punt under that pressure, but I'm telling you, the Wasps feel like they can block a punt here today. They came after it that time. they may get one today, particularly if we get a bad snap like they had at Randolph-Macon.
Yeah, you see them getting closer and closer on this. Right now, the Guilford Quakers with just 15 total yards of offense so far. The Wasps will start at their own 38, leading 3-0, 3:46 to go in the first quarter. Taylor gives it to Overstreet, off left tackle to the 40. Overstreet with nice blocking out there. Nice run out to the left side up to the 45. Gary, that's almost just like student body left, right?
Well, yeah, that time, I'm telling you, great block by Zach Venhorst out of Lynchburg, Liberty Christian. He's playing tight end. That time he sealed that edge and allowed Overstreet to get around that left side for a pickup of a first down. So great. I mean, he decleated the Guilford defender over there on that left side.
And you'd love to see Grayson Overstreet in space.
Boy.
A gain
Unless you're a Quaker.
That's right. It's up to the 48 on 1st and 10. Taylor will be in the pistol, two-back offense here on 1st and 10. You give us to Overstreet. He'll try right tackle. Gets to midfield. Overstreet cuts back to the 45-40. Inside the 35, and he's out of bounds. And Overstreet showing a little bit more here as he's getting outside. Shows his speed and gets down to the 31, gain of 21.
Well, you know, some good blocking on that interior line that time. But in that second level, though, great blocking by Gunnar Griffith on that corner and enabled Overstreet to get outside. But great job of tying up that corner and taking him out of the play.
How key that is, Gary, to get to the edge there. You have that edge containment.
And then that second level blocking.
So 1st and 10 Wasps quickly to the Guilford 31. Taylor in the gun. Play action. Throw short and very short. He was looking for TJ Tester, and it went into the ground at the 27. Coverage for Guilford was Khalil Miller, incomplete.
That time he had Gunnar Griffith on a flag route into the corner of the end zone, and Hunter Taylor pulled the trigger a little bit quick. I'm sure when they look at the film, they're going to say, look at this guy, your other receiver.
They'll bring up 2nd and 10 for the Wasps at the Guilford 31. 3:07 to go here in an overcast afternoon here at Emory. Emory leads it 3-0. Taylor in the gun. He gives to TJ Tester, looking for blocks to the 30. TJ Tester to the 20. First down by TJ Tester, down to the 15, and the Stanton River connection really making their faces shown here. Down to the 15, a gain of 16.
Well, again, another good block by Venhorst on that edge over there, and then DeAndre Jordan in there also as a running back. Good block by him.
So first down pickup here. Boy, the Wasps gashing now on the rushing attack. They have it down to the Guilford 15. 2:40 left in the opening quarter. Emory leads at 3-0, but they're driving. Taylor, play action. Taylor hit as he throws, looks for the end zone, and that's going to be interference against on Elijah Rice, as Rice was just physically thrown to the ground at the 1 yard line. This is going to be pass interference.
Yeah, it's either a touchdown or interference. You choose your poison, but I tell you what, Rice is, once he catches the ball, he's something else to bring down. Again, he's one of those transfers that fortunately the Wasps have been able to pick up.
So Guilford, the story of the first quarter has been the penalty bug. That is their 6th penalty of the first quarter, approaching 60 yards in this first quarter. And it puts Emory 1st and goal, meanwhile, at the 2. But Guilford had them here last time and held them to a field goal. I formation behind Taylor. One receiver right, that's Griffith. On 1st and goal. Taylor under center. They give us to the fullback, Overstreet. Off left tackle, Overstreet fighting. He's not in. He's down to the 1 before he stood up by Alex Manley and company.
That is some tough going. But I tell you what, Josh, this I formation, I love seeing that quarterback under center when you're up around the goal line, because it gets down to a quarterback sneak, which is, I think, a great play. At least we have that in our repertoire.
Taylor under center again. I formation again. 2nd and goal from the 1. There's that quarterback sneak. Boy, not a lot of push there, and he's short. Boy, the Wasps are just not getting the push up front. Taylor actually may have lost a quarter of a yard there.
Well, the Quakers are winning the battle on the line of scrimmage here. They're going forward. We're having to start every play behind the line of scrimmage.
Almost a half-yard loss brings up 3rd and goal now from just outside the 1. They'll bring in Elijah Rice here in this formation. They'll keep Tester and Overstreet out there. Gunnar Griffith stays out there on 3rd and goal from almost from the 1.5-yard line.
Well, this would be a huge victory for the Quakers if they hold them to a field goal.
Offset eye for Taylor on 3rd and goal. The pitch is to Overstreet. Gets outside. Overstreet with the block, and he's into the end zone. Boy, that has worked on this drive. And, boy, another great block by Venhorst. Springs it. T.J. Tester with another block, and Overstreet in from 2 yards out.
You know, Newsom told me, he said, I think we found our tight end from last week, and we didn't get to talk with him very much about it, Josh, but Venhorst has been the key blocker on this drive, certainly on both around that left side, and in that time, him helping clear the way for, you don't have to give Overstreet much of a block, but he certainly did there.
Baber with the PAT. The snap is down. The kick is up. The hold by Daugherty. And the kick by Baber is up and good. And on the minute 21 to go in the first quarter, your new score, it's Emory and Henry 10, Guilford 0. Boy, Gary, I feel like I'm a kid again. I'm watching I formation, pitches right, student body left. I mean, what year is this?
I'm telling you, it's the old two-back offense. And, I said this at the top of the broadcast. It's the RPO has been our calling card. It's been the thing that Newsom brought here when he came 7 years ago. I'm not sure on the math on that, but anyway, it may be time to start looking at a little bit different offensive formations when you've got this much talent with Jordan and Overstreet and Tester, and you got Rice out there and you got Cozy out there. It may be time to reevaluate our stance on offense.
Nice recovery there for the Wasps there. Look good to see them rushing the ball there first on that drive. I think, from my understanding, everything was on the ground except for the one penalty on that drive. And the Wasps cash in on the 3rd goal run from Overstreet, that 3rd and goal that made it a 10-0 game.
Let's see if we get that little 9-iron down to the 30-yard line. They're trying to get it down here again over on this right side. Let's see if they do it again. Yep.
Baber will do it again. And again, it will come down to Norman at the 26. Norman reverses field to the 30, who has some blockers. Yeah. Gets to the 35, runs into his own man, though, and then he's slowed up at about the 36. So Norman there, going against the odds, reversing field, does a pretty good job of accelerating it. And the Guilford Quakers will start their next drive, 1st and 10 from their own 36, with 1:13 to go in the opening quarter, trailing now 10-0.
Well, you give up a little bit of field position with that little pooch kick, but the alternative is kicking it deep to Jermaine Russell and seeing what he could do with it, and they feel much more comfortable with that little pooch kick, hoping for a fair catch.
Well, I tell you, Guilford has always had a dangerous special teams guy, and Russell is definitely dangerous. Gassert will play action up. He'll give the handoff there, and stumbling there on the play and getting back. Actually, he'll lose a yard. Back to the line of scrimmage was the running back there, Joey Strong Jr. Looked like he had a head of steam, but then just the turf monster got him at the 35.
Yeah, he found a little opening up inside Swagmeyer, but Brett Butler, the linebacker, closed that gap quick, and, of course, the little turf monster helped.
2nd and 11 now for the Quakers after the loss of 1. Gassert in the gun with 4 wide. Strong Jr. to his left. Gassert to throw. Gassert up under pressure. Swigert's got him being held on the play. Swigert got around the left side and dropped him for the sack back to the 26.
Well, Swagmeyer gets number whatever. That's the 2nd sack today for the Wasps. They've had more hurries, and if Swagmeyer hadn't have gotten him, Ivan Phillips came in on a delayed blitz, and I mean he wasn't touched. And so I think the quarterback made the smarter decision to let Swagmeyer have that sack.
It'll bring up 3rd down and very long here. The Quakers don't have to run into the play. It's 6 seconds left in the quarter, 13 on the play clock. Let's see if they run one. Down to 2, down to 1. They do snap it before the first quarter on 3rd down. Geisert steps up in the pocket, throws deep down the middle of the field in a crowd, and it is caught by Russell in a crowd of about 5 players, mostly gold. And in the crowd, he takes the reception at the Emory 28-yard line, but there is a flag in the backfield, and this is going to go against Emory as well. It's roughing the passer.
I think they'll decline that. Yeah, Zyquist Law, Deontay Geddes, and that time I believe number Jalen Crimes, all 3 of them back there looked like either one of the 3 might intercept that ball, but it kind of fell right between them for a long gain at the end of the first quarter for the Quakers.
Boy, so at the end of the first quarter, it's Emory and Henry 10, Guilford nothing, but the Guilford Quakers with a big there. And, boy, you thought they would let the clock run out. Boy, if you're a Quaker fan, you're glad they didn't, as Gassert and gives it to Russell. That's the man they want to get it to, and a big completion at the end of the first quarter.
Yeah, that big completion, I believe around 50 yards, gives the Quakers some yardage for that first quarter. They end the quarter with 51 yards of total offense, and
yeah, I think they're giving 46 yards as the reception.
Yeah, 46 yards of that was that reception. So,
and I stand back there because of the roughing call. You cannot end the quarter on a defensive penalty, so this will be one untimed down here. So they got one more play in the first quarter. Gassert drops back on 1st and 10, throws it out to Russell, who was open, and he overshot him, and that will be in the first quarter. So the roughing the passer call gave Guilford one more shot going to the south end zone, and they tried it, but Russell couldn't get to it in the end zone.
And Russell was open in the corner of that end zone. He just was overthrown. So the Quakers strike back here, Josh.
Yeah, they do, and in resilient fashion here. And Gassert, he's 3 of 8 right now, but boy, he's had some open receivers. He's had Eric Mays open a couple of times. He had Russell there, which if that ball is there, that's probably a touchdown for the Quakers. And he's got the arm strength. He definitely has shown the arm strength here so far.
Well, he has, and also the Quakers have found something in the middle of this Wasp secondary. And, I've always thought if you want to really break the back of a defense, you throw it across the middle of the field. I mean, it's all great to have these fly patterns down the sideline, 50-50 balls, but if you really want to break the back of a defense, you start picking on that middle and find the vulnerable spots there, and you'll back them up. And right now they've thrown, I know, at least 5 different passes down the middle of the field, and they have been open, Josh.
Yeah, they have been. And, the interception that Gibson made, Gibson was about 4 yards away when that ball went in the air. And so It was a great play by Gibson. So the receivers are getting open against this Emory secondary when Gassert has had time to throw it. It's going to be 2nd down and 10 from the Emory 15 as we start the second quarter with the Wasps at 10-0. Again, just joining us, Russell with the big 46-yard pass there just before, actually the next to last play of the first quarter. Gassert will be in the gun with 3 wide. Gassert, the give is going to be to the running back up the middle of Strong Jr., and not a whole lot of running room there, as Strong Jr. gets maybe a yard, and that's it.
Yeah, it's tough sledding up the middle of that Emory Henry defense. You not only have that front 4, but you got 2 pretty good linebackers there with Butler and Ivan Phillips.
So 3rd and about 9 for the Quakers at the Emory 14 as we're just underway here in the second quarter. Emory leads at 10-0. Quakers trying to get on the board here. They'll go 4 wide. Gassert will be in the gun. Strong Jr. to his right. Gassert ready for the snap. Emory with 3 down linemen. Gassert ready. Drops back. 3-step drop. Looking under pressure, and guess who? Swagheimer with the swag and the sack back at the 24-yard line.
They may change his name to Sackheimer before he leaves here. I mean, at the rate he is always in. He's unblockable. I mean, if he does get blocked, he's usually being held.
So that's going to be a loss back to the 24, Gary, and the Quakers now face 4th and 20, and they're going to go for it here. 4th and 20, they will not go for the field goal, at least in the outset. Gassert in the gun on 4th and 20. Strong Jr. to his right. Gassert drops back. 3-man rush. Gassert steps up. Throws over the middle, and the pass is going to be caught for a touchdown. In between the zone there, it's completed to Kamari Norman for the touchdown.
The first score of the season for the Quakers. That's 20-yard strike down the middle of the field. Again, they keep picking on the middle of the field. The corners, I guess they've decided that is something that we're not going to challenge. But, again, Gassert getting enough time with the 3-man rush and Wasp dropping 8. But he finds a hole in the middle of that zone defense of the Wasp.
Yeah, he floated it just over Brent Butler there at the 5-yard line. And the Quakers, as you mentioned, Gary, their first points of the spring. It'll be Ratliff out for the PAT, Gassert to hold. Rolled snap down, and it's blocked. And it's picked up by Emory. Step arm up the field. Here comes Ivan Phillips. Ivan Phillips to the 50. Ivan to the 40. The 30. Ivan Phillips is going to go all the way for 2 points. The other way. Off the block. I believe Jake Crimes may have got the block. Ivan Phillips picked it up, and he goes the other way for 2, and it makes it 12-6.
Jay Crimes got a block there, and also Dalton Wilson in on it. So, again, that block, they just like the punts, Josh, Emory's defense or their special teams feels like they can block these kicks, and they also can block the punts, and that time they got one.
Boy.
It's been a big emphasis this week for the Wasps on these extra points and field goals and the punts.
Boy, when the snap rolls back to you, I mean, it gives you time to block it, and Crimes blocks it, and boy, Ivan Phillips with a nice stiff arm, and then he shows his speed the other way.
And when you watch the film and see how many got rolled back there or slid back or punted over, thrown back there over the head, what kind of coach wouldn't work on special teams and blocking the kicks or punts?
So Guilford, after scoring, then gives 2 back to Emory and Henry. So boy, if you're the Quakers, you're just kind of, that was a letdown. You score and you're getting ready to be down by 3 points, and then all of a sudden you're down 6 again.
First points scored by this Emory defense this year, and last year they scored several, but this is the first ones they've scored this year. I don't think it'll be the last for next fall by any means.
So Ratliff will kick off, and this is a sidewise back, rolls down to Rice at the 14. Rice up to the 30. Rice to the 40. Rice still going. He's at midfield, and he's out of bounds into Guilford territory. Boy, the Emory and Henry returners have had a field day in this spring. Rice has stepped out of bounds at midfield, almost a 40-yard gain.
Well, Rice out of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, he's transferred from Lewisburg College. Who are you going to pick back there? You either kick it to Rice or you kick it to Jordan. Jordan last week returned, an 85-yard touchdown run or kickoff in the fourth quarter, and so let's kick it to Rice, and not much to choose from if you're the kicker.
Yeah, you can't kick it out of bounds. Oh, I guess
No,
you can.
Well, you can.
Yeah, you have to re-kick possibly. So first down and 10 midfield for Taylor and the Wasps. Taylor goes right up the middle, calls his own number. Hunter Taylor has a first down, and he's driven down at the 37. So a nice play there as he faked it to Overstreet, as Taylor gets a 13-yard gain and a first down.
Good call right there. The Wasps have been able to run that in with Venhorst blocking, and that time they had gotten the Quakers spread out, and that middle was wide open. Good call by the offense that time.
Wasps rushing attack really starting to get the locomotion going right now, as it's 1st and 10 now at the Guilford 37. Taylor will be in the gun to get us to Overstreet. Tries the left side. Nice block out at the 35. Steps in the 30. Overstreet at the 25. Inside the 20. Inside the 10. Grayson Overstreet carrying defenders inside the 5. Down to the Guilford 4. It's 1st and goal. It's a gain of 32.
I know we keep saying it, but I'm telling you, when they run that sweep and you've got 2 good blockers out there with Jordan that time and Venhorst, I mean, you don't need – Overstreet doesn't need a whole lot, but they got enough of it to give him the opening.
It puts Emory well over 100 yards rushing in this first half. And, boy, since the opening 2 drives for Emory, the Wasps have really chewed up some yardage on the ground.
And it's been mostly on the outside, on the edge, Josh.
1st and goal, Emory at the 4. And, boy, Taylor somehow called a timeout right before that ball was snapped.
Well, Newsom's calling that timeout because he saw something he didn't like, and Taylor's wanting to go with it because it was almost too late. But, again, this 2-back offense, but the holes, Josh, have not been up in the middle. They have been –
it's been on the outside.
They have been on the outside, and Venhorst has been – he's been the plow out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's been the road scraper for Jordan. He's been the road scraper for – Overstreet, and then TJ Tester in there also. It's, if you're going to clog up that middle, which they obviously have with their linebackers, then let's take it outside until you stop us out there. And when you do, we'll come back in the middle.
Well, the Wasps, it's good to see them running the football at will. It was tough early going. They have 115 yards right now on 16 attempts. Gary, that's a little over 7 yards a carry. You'll definitely take that out of this offense.
I think Newsom will be happy to have that. Now, they called timeout, and they put Jordan in the slot, and TJ Tester in the back. They've taken Overstreet out.
So first and goal. This is where Emory's had some challenges at the Guilford 4. Taylor in the gun. Jordan with the jet sweep. Jordan gets it. Cuts into the right side. Dives forward. A good job there by Guilford. Tyler Wilson, he actually was responsible for Jordan the whole way, and he actually runs across the field, makes a tackle at about the 3.
Yeah, Jordan turns up into the hole there and takes a pretty good lick. He's coming out, Overstreet coming back in. Take Rice out and put a little more beef up front. Looks like, a formation you pretty much expect them to run, but you still have Gunnar Griffith out here on single coverage.
Second and goal now for the Wasps at the Guilford 3. It's been inside the 5 that's been the tough going for Emory and Henry. They'll go I formation. Tester is the deep back. Overstreet is the fullback on second and goal. They give us to Overstreet. Right off left tackle. Dives forward. He is just short of the end zone. Got inside the 1-yard line before he was bended backwards by Bryce Smith. Going to bring up third and goal. I think you might see that again.
Well, yeah, they're going to stay at this same formation.
Third and goal from the 1. Fumble the snap. Does Taylor. Gets it back. Then gets forward, and he's not in.
He didn't.
So they dropped the snap, and it's going to bring up fourth and goal now for Emory. Boy, the Wasps have had some issues inside the 5-yard line, but credit these Quakers right now. You've got to give credit on the other side. They are doing a phenomenal job up front.
They have really stiffened. When they get inside that red zone, they stiffen up quite a bit. But the Wasps bringing out some of the heavy lumber there, put Rice back in, and they send Gunnar Griffith to the far right side, but they leave 2-back offense with Tester and Overstreet.
Fourth and goal now from the 1. Taylor under center, offset eye. The pitch is to Overstreet. Overstreet gets a block, dives forward. He's into the end zone for the touchdown. TJ Tester this time gets the credit for the block, and Overstreet in from a yard out on fourth and goal.
Well, it looked like Alex Manley from the Quakers was going to shut that down, but boy, TJ Tester took him on with a vicious block, opening up that right side, and boom, there goes Overstreet. And again, if you're going to clog that middle, we're going to take it outside.
And the Wasps have done most of that running from the outside, and they get it in on fourth down there. Look like the Quakers might hold there. Baber in for the PAT. Snap is down. Kick on the way by Baber is up, and it's good. And with the PAT, the new score now, Emory and Henry 19, Guilford 6, and you might be tuning in thinking, how did Emory get to 19? Well, Ivan Phillips picked up a blocked PAT just a minute ago, ran 90 yards, and that's how we got the extra 2 points.
Well, while we got a moment here, I'd like to thank our sponsors of Emory Henry Football. We're brought to you by First Bank and Trust. They offer mobile banking, Apple Pay, remote deposits, and so much more. They've been serving the community with free checking since 1979, and they are a member of the FDIC. And if you want to check them out, you can on the web at firstbank.com.
And Emory and Henry Football is underwritten by Food City, where you'll find value every day. Locally owned and operated for more than 90 years with over 135 convenient locations. Food City is a proud sponsor of Emory and Henry Football.
20 rushing attempts, 119 yards, Josh. They're clicking right now, about 6 yards a carry, and I'll take that.
Yeah, you will. You'd love to see the Wasps stick with something here, and they've done a good job of it and adjusting to this Quaker group. And I tell you, this Quaker group, we mentioned this at the outset, much better than that 44-0 output that they showed two weeks ago.
Yeah, no, we're close. You know, the other thing about this running game, and as the father of a former offensive lineman, you love nothing better as an offensive lineman than to see that running game clicking.
Baber's kick will sail out of bounds at about the 8. So Baber tried again to get that away from several of the return men, and it goes out of bounds at the 8-yard line. And Guilford appears they're going to take this flag, and they won't make Emory re-kick it. They'll just put it at the 35.
Well, Baber's been kicking it onto the right, down to the right sideline during the first quarter, but now this time looked like he tried to pin it deep in the corner over here on the left side. It just rolled out of bounds.
Just an extra little hook there on that kick.
It's kind of like my 5-iron when it kind of finds the woods.
Or pickleball, right?
Yeah, or pickleball, yes. Mm-hmm.
All right, so the Quakers back on offense. They'll take the at the 35 after the kick out of bounds. Gassert will go in the gun on 1st and 10. Late give will be to Strong Jr. That snap almost went to the right side of Gassert, and Strong Jr. goes up to about the 38-yard line, where he's tackled on the play by the ODAC Defensive Player of the Week, Donovan Penick.
Yeah, Josh, kind of interesting. Last week the corners were challenged. They're out there on an island just like they are this week. The Quakers really haven't gone after these corners today.
No, just over the middle is where we've seen that action. They'll go 4 wide, do the Quakers here on 2nd down, and it's about 7. Gassert will be in the gun. Strong Jr. to his right. Gassert will throw. Gassert with time, now under pressure, gets away from a man, rolls to the right, and he throws short and it's incomplete. Ivan Phillips there very close to a late hit as Gassert is shoved down at the 20. The receptor, they were looking for Norman there on the sideline there, but nice pressure up the middle.
Jordan Mighty.
Yeah, Jordan Mighty almost got the sack there.
And we called his name several times last week. Jordan Mighty is playing in that backup role. He's a sophomore out of Catlett, Virginia, Liberty High School.
This front 4 for Emory really been impressive here in this spring season. 3rd down and 7 for the Quakers. Gassert will have 4 receivers in this formation. He's in the gun. Gassert drops back, looks right. Throwing right. He's going deep, and he overshoots the receiver there. He was looking out there for one-on-one coverage out there with Norman and Crimes, but Crimes had help there to the top of the field with Law. It falls incomplete.
Well, just as I said, they haven't gone after these corners yet. They come after Law that time, come after Crimes and overthrow by quite a margin. So here we got another punt and another opportunity to look at Elijah Rice back here as the punt returner.
Gary, I think they're listening to you.
My phone must be, this mic must be tapped.
Yeah. So Ratliff set the punt, and it'll be Elijah Rice standing at his own 23-yard line. 9:45 to go in this opening half. Emory leads at 19-6. Ratliff, this time a better snap, gets it away. High kick. Boy, good kick. Rice going to call for the fair catch at about the 19-yard line. Job well done by Ratliff. When you get a fair catch out of Rice, you're doing your job. And again, another 40-plus yard punt, 44 yards and no return.
That was a boomer right there. And the Wasps had set up a return, so they had, if that had not have been such a high and long punt, I think we'd have seen Rice chew up some yardage there. But great punt by the Quakers punter.
Well, when you hear a good punt, it just sounds good.
Yep.
So the Wasps will start 1st and 10 from their own 20. 9:38 to go in the opening half. They lead at 19-6. Bunch formation to the left side. Single receiver right is Griffith. Taylor, play action. Nope, throws short, and the pass is caught out there. Actually, that's Ethan Muncie with the diving grab at the 25 in front of the cornerback. It'll be a gain of 5.
Ethan Muncie getting some time as a receiver. He goes out now. Gunnar Griffith comes in, and also Jordan, number 23, coming in at the running back position. Rice still out there as one of the receivers.
2nd and 5 now for the Wasps at their own 25. Receivers to either side, backs to either side of Taylor, who's in the gun.
Well, they've got those safeties up. You're going to see
Taylor throws up, and as you mentioned, they'll throw to Gunnar Griffith there, and boy, the safety there coming up hard on that play there, and nearly getting a pick there was Khalil Miller at the 30.
And Newsom a little bit surprised that play. You've got Elijah Rice down here, man-to-man. They've got those safeties walked up in there to evidently stop Overstreet, but boy, Rice has got to be somebody I'd be looking at right here.
Especially to the long side of the field.
Yeah, the wide side of the field on man coverage, and the safeties walked up almost into the box. You got a lot of green behind that corner.
3rd and 5 for Emory at their own 25. Taylor in the pistol. Play action. Taylor hit as he throws to Rice on cue. Rice to the 40, and he's flipped upside down before he goes forward to the 47. That'll be a gain of 25.
Run that little post pattern with Rice, and he gets shoulders inside that corner, and it's easy money right there. Lots of wide open space right there.
Nice pickup on 3rd down there for the Wasps, who've done a really good job on 3rd down. They're now 4 of 7 now in this game. They've done a good job over the season so far.
Again, Rice down here on single coverage on the wide side of the field.
1st and 10 from the 47. Taylor will move Jordan in motion. High snap, play action. They're looking for Rice. Deep down the left sideline. There he is at the 20. Rice reverses field. Stiff arm at the 10. The 5. Rice dives for the pylon. Is he in? No signal yet. He is down at the 1.
Oh.
Just inside the 1 yard line.
He knocked the pylon over.
right at the 1-yard line. Boy, you talked about Rice being open. That's a gain of 49. It brings up 1st and goal at the 1.
Well, you can't put Rice to the wide side of the field with single coverage and the safeties walked up in the box and expect that cornerback to be able to defend against that. That's asking too much out of a corner.
So 1st and goal, Emory at the Guilford 1. Offset I behind Taylor. Overstreet and Jordan are the backs. Taylor puts Jordan in motion. Taylor gets it. Quarterback sneak, pushes forward. Second effort, no signal yet. And he's in for the touchdown. 1-yard touchdown plunge for Hunter Taylor, and Emory and Henry adds to its lead. They lead it now 25-6.
Yeah, Elijah Rice right there, 52-yard bomb to Elijah Rice. But, Josh, it's like I said, there's nothing but green grass out there or turf. And that one lonely cornerback, you just cannot put him in that situation. And good call by the Wasps to see that and exploit that coverage.
Baber out for another PAT. Snap is down. Kick on the way by Baber is up and good. And with 7:47 to go in the half, what was to be a 10-7 game all of a sudden is now turned into a 26-6 Emory and Henry lead. And boy, Gary, it's almost as if that Phillips 90-yard return just all of a sudden switched the momentum in this thing.
It did. And also, Josh, this running game, when you can roll up 120 yards off 20 carries, you're going to see those safeties walked up in there just like they were when Rice caught that 52-yard bomb. But that's what happens is, how am I going to stop this running play? I got to bring these safeties up. You've run for 120 yards and it doesn't seem to be able to stop you. So corners, we're going to put you on island. We're going to stop Overstreet, and good luck with Rice.
Yeah, good luck. As the Wasps now, pretty balanced attack, Gary. 120 on the ground, 102 now in the air, 222 for the first half. And you talk about the rushing or the lack thereof by opposition. Right now, I know sacks factored into this, but the Wasps defense, Guilford has negative 16 yards rushing right now.
Well, let's see. That should bring our average down to about 4 yards a game. But, again, one of the things I really like what I'm seeing today, and I know Newsom is the consistency of this offense.
Yep.
It's on the ground, but, boy, it's nice to see.
Baber will kick it deep. First deep kick really all game to Purnell at the 8. Purnell up to the 20, up to the 30. Purnell at the 40. Purnell, one man to beat, and that's the kicker, and he's past the kicker, and Purnell is into Emory territory. Good job by Muncie of slowing him up, but a nice return there by Edric Purnell, the junior wideout out of Greensboro. That's a gain of almost 55, and he puts the Quakers at the Emory 41.
Well, the Wasps got caught up inside. The Quakers broke it out, and there was just nobody there to turn it back in. Thank goodness the kicker was there. Baber was there to slow him down long enough for the Wasps to catch up. But, boy, they got caught up inside, Josh.
I think this is a crucial drive for the Quakers now. You're teetering now at a 20-point deficit, and it was almost a 10-7 game just a minute ago. Boy, if you're the Quakers here, you've got to get points in some way, shape, or fashion. They'll try the ground hill on 1st and 10, and that's not going to get it done as Swagheimer will drop Hutchinson for a yard loss. So that adds to the negative total for Guilford on the ground.
Well, and you say they've got to get some points here, but where do you go? You've got, no running game. You're minus 19 yards. Gassard's been pressured on every throw. So
2nd and 11 for the Quakers at the Emory 42. Gassard in the gun, 3 receivers all to the left side. Gassard drops back. Gassard with time throws to the tight end, and he misses him at the 25-yard line. He had leaked out from the flat. He was looking for the tight end. That was Parker Jackson, who was open outside the numbers. It was covering there was Geddes, but he was beat.
Yeah, surprise, surprise. The Wasps dropped back into a cover 2, and they left those corners in the flats. And, of course, the deep flat, deep out is what's open, and that's what that safety can get us. Just wasn't there.
So it brings up 3rd and 11 now for the Quakers at the Emory 42. They'll go 4 wide, and Gassert will be in the gun. He'll drop back. Gassert with time. Now under pressure. Swagheimer again in the backfield, and he sweeps off his feet with another sack back to the Guilford 49.
Jay Swagmeyer that time did a little spin move on that offensive tackle, and just came right up underneath him. And when he gets the inside track on that spin move, it's one thing to be outside track on that spin, but when you got the inside track, man, you've got that quarterback in your sights, and he's got no time. Swagmeyer, it must be, his third sack of the day?
I think third sack, 4 sacks already for Emory in this first half.
So 4th and 18, 19.
Yeah, 4th and 19, and Ratliff set to punt again. Rice standing at his own 10. Ratliff, shaky snap. It's almost blocked, and I think Crimes may have gotten a piece of it. It'll go to the 30, inside to actually the 15 of the 10, and that ball just hugs the sideline before it stopped at the 6. Boy, what a job by Ratliff. He got that punt away. May have been partially blocked, but boy, takes a nice, friendly Guilford roll down to the 6.
Jalen Crimes, I don't know how it got through his hands, and then it was such a short kick, Rice could not field it, and then it just, like you say, it hugs that sideline, and it's like,
boy, it rolled 20 yards down that right sideline.
Right down the sideline. Somebody should have just kicked it out of bounds down there,
45-yard punt. Boy, Ratliff I'd certainly put him in first-team honors right now. He has shown everything back there punting so far today. The Wasps, poor field position at their own 6. Play action. Taylor, pump fake. Looks to the right side. Wide open out there. Oh, and he misses him. Was Gunnar Griffith, and he was 5 yards open. It just sailed past him at the 45.
Oh, my gosh. Gunnar Griffith up there by himself, single coverage. And, Josh, he ran a little fake on that inside like he was going to run that post route, turned it up. He had that defensive back turned completely around. Oh, put a little more air underneath it, and you got a 95-yard touchdown pass.
Incomplete there. Boy, Gunnar Griffith, it was just a matter of could he get to the football there, and he almost got to it but just couldn't make it.
Well, I know one thing. I'd put a little note if I were Newsom in my book down there and say we'll be back to that.
2nd and 10 for the Wasps, thrown 6. Taylor in the pistol. Gives it to Overstreet. Almost miscommunication in the backfield. They get to Overstreet. Goes in the backfield. Gets outside the numbers up to about the 10-yard line, maybe the 11. And it's going to bring up 3rd and about 5 for Emory.
Well, the Wasps have got the Quakers in a bad spot right now. They're trying to put people in the box to stop that run of Overstreet and Jordan and Tester. But then you've got your corners trying to be on an island with Gunnar Griffith and Elijah Rice. And, I mean, which is worse, Josh?
Yeah, it's like, what do you choose?
Yeah.
So 3rd and 5 coming up for Emory. 5:26 to go in the opening half. Emory leads at 26-6. Taylor, play action. Looks to the left side. Looks out there for Elijah Rice. Rice with a diving grab. Oh, what a grab at the 45. That's great coverage out there by Alex Manley, but an even better catch by Elijah Rice.
Well, Alex Manley coming from that safety position to try and help out his corner, but it was too late to get there, and the ball kind of fluttered. If it had been on a line like Hunter can usually throw it, that would have been 6, Josh. And again, you've got these corners out there. I don't know when they're going to start backing up those safeties to help. I guess when they can figure out how to stop this ground game by the Wasps.
So a 3rd down conversion for the Wasps has it at the 45. 4:48 to go into the half. Emory up 26-6, and the Wasps will burn their 2nd timeout. Comes with 4:46 here, and looking at this forecast in today, it looked like this was going to be a washout, but other than a little drizzle, it's not been a heavy downpour so far in this first half, and that's made for a pretty good crowd here today.
Yeah, in fact, I think we've got a few more people than we had last week. I don't know if ticket sales were just as brisk or what, but I think Dave Dirks called off the rain today, WCYB, and so we're getting this.
We appreciate that. That was very nice of him.
That was nice of him. It's a little overcast, but it's nice weather, 50-some degrees to play football in.
Boy, the Wasps right now, Gary, if you combine their 3rd and 4th down efficiency, 6 of 9. That's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. And that helps when you've got weapons all over the place right now.
Yeah, I'll take that 2/3 fraction anytime.
Yeah. So it'll be 1st and 10 after the timeout for the Wasps. 4:46 to go in the half, and Emory up 26-6. Taylor will be in the pistol. TJ Tester is the deep back. He got 3 receivers in the formation. They'll move Rice in motion to the right side. Taylor looks that way, and he's ready for the snap. Now Tester will move to his left. They'll move Rice back to the left side, the short side of the field, tries to cut up field. Boy, the Quakers were waiting for him there on the short side of the field. Fighting through about 2 blocks there was Caden Phillips, the freshman out of Afton, Tennessee. And one of the rare times Emory loses yardage, lose one back to the 44.
Well, and the philosophy there is you're trying to catch the Quakers stunning to that wide side of the field and leaving the short side open and thinking out number them. They had Jordan up as a tight end that time trying to seal off that corner, but it just wasn't enough room there.
2nd and 11 for Emory at their own 44. Taylor is going to keep it himself. Reverses field, and it's open. Midfield. Taylor to the 45, puts his head down, and he's got a first down to the 42-yard line. He's tackled by Alex Manley, but not before a gain of 14.
Alex Manley having a good game. He's all over the field making tackles, but unfortunately that one's down the field for a first down.
Right now, Manley that is his 7th tackle of the game so far.
Manley, a transfer. He was here at Emory, and his brother played here at Emory.
1st and 10 game for the Wasps. The Guilford 41, 3:39 left in the half. The give is going to be to Jordan. Cuts off field to the 40, and then cuts again. Another cut, stiff arm, and all of Jordan gets back somehow to the line of scrimmage. He beat about 4 or 5 Quakers, but the numbers are just too great as it's Alex Manley again with the stop.
Yeah. Jordan, that zone blocking, you just try to let the back kind of slow the hole and then pick his spot. And if he can make the cut back, he does. But that time, just too much pursuit. There really wasn't much of a hole there anywhere.
Gain of 1 brings up 2nd and 9 for the Wasps. 3 minutes to go in the half, and we've got whistles. And Guilford will call, I believe, a timeout. That'll be their first charged timeout. And with 3:04 to go in this opening half, Emory leads at 26-6.
And the Wasps closing in here, 276 yards on this half of total offense, closing in on 300 yards. And, if you can get 300 yards and a half, you're pretty comfortable going into that locker room. But, they've got the Quakers in a tough spot. How do we stop this run and then at the same time defend Jordan and Gunnar Griffith out on these edges?
I don't know if you could figure that one out. If you do, I mean, you need to tell us. I mean, that's just what do you do? And Taylor, probably his best game throwing, I think, so far. He looks comfortable. I think in this early going, he's 7 of 12, 137 yards. Oh, by the way, 119 is to that number 4, Elijah Rice, out there, and then Grayson Overstreet with 82 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Well,
so there's a nice balance going on right now.
Right, and Hunter Taylor could have had a 95-yard touchdown pass, barely overthrowing Gunnar Griffith, who was wide open on that double move on that man-to-man coverage up there. But I don't know how you stop it because there's too many weapons out there for the Wasps.
2nd and 9 for the Wasps at the Guilford 40. Pistol formation, play action. Taylor hit as he throws, looks down the field for Elijah Rice, and nice coverage down there, one-on-one. Actually, going step for step with him was the cornerback. That was that was Miller, and Manley there also to help.
Manley sliding over from that safety position. They've decided that we can't leave Rice out there by himself, so they're trying to double cover him on those deep routes.
That's a smart move, I think. Yeah.
Well, it is. Of course, you take one man out of the box and makes you more vulnerable to the run. But, choose your poison, and I think that's what they decided to do.
3rd and 9 for the Wasps at the Guilford 40. Two receivers to either side. Taylor to throw on 3rd down. Blitz coming up the middle. Completion to Rice. At the numbers, stiff arm, tries to get outside, dives forward. He actually ran back outside the first down, but then he got the first down at the 30-yard line, a gain of 10.
Elijah Rice is so comfortable in running the ball. He will take that pass and do that little spin move coming back, knowing that he's, have enough confidence in his ability to make that first down.
Wasps getting now 6 of 9 on 3rd down. And bring up 1st and 10 for the Wasps now at the Guilford 30. 2:33 to go into the half. Emory leads at 26-6. Taylor will start off in the pistol. He'll stay in the pistol. Overstreet is the deep back on 1st and 10. Play action. Taylor pump fake, has to run away. Somehow gets away at the 30, up to the 25. Taylor, puts his head down. It's a nasty hit at about the 23-yard line. Nice fake out there. It looked like they were going to get him in the backfield for a stop, but Taylor makes a move, and he'll actually get 6 out of it.
He slipped away and picked up about 6, 7 yards. But boy, Hunter's never been one to take the easy way out, and he likes to deliver the blow as much as he takes it. And that time I'd say that was about even.
Yeah. 2nd and 4 for the Wasps now at the Guilford 22. We're under 2 minutes here in the opening half. Taylor will go to the gun, 3 wide. Taylor to the throw. Taylor with time. Pump fakes. Looks out there on the wheel route. Out there for Gunnar Griffith. Oh, what a diving grab. It's a touchdown. Well, the catch radius is on point there. What a grab by Griffith in the back of the end zone.
Well, again, you called it that wheel route that Gunnar Griffith breaks to the outside, and before he even looks back, Hunter Taylor's put the ball in the corner of the end zone. A perfect pass by Hunter that time. Gunnar Griffith just laying out for that. But, again, that poor corner trying to, defend that double move out there by himself, and it didn't work.
That's a beautiful pass from Taylor, and, boy, Griffith runs right under it and just makes a diving grab in the corner of the end zone.
It's good to see
Baber's kick is good.
Good to see Gunnar Griffith get involved. He wasn't very much involved last week's game, but this week he's been more involved. And like we said before, barely missed that 95-yard touchdown pass, but this one, Hunter and Griffith connect for Emory and Henry's touchdown, making it 33-6, minute 32. Been a good second quarter for the Wasps. 23
points now in the second quarter for Emory and Henry. They had a 20-point third quarter last week. And again, folks, this was going to be a 10-7 game at one point. And, boy, since then it has been 23 straight by the Wasps since that return by Ivan Phillips off the blocked PAT. And it has been on the ground. It has been through the air. It's been a little bit of everything so far for the Wasps. 316 total yards in the opening half.
Well, let's see where this Baber tries to kick this one. We've had the little pop-ups. He's tried to kick too deep, and they got burned on that last kick deep. So let's see if they go for the pop-up.
I hope Baber kicks this one to Glade Spring. That'd be nice for me. Or excuse me, not Glade Abingdon. Going the other way. Wrong direction. He actually kicks it short. It actually almost dies at the 20-yard line and then scoots out of bounds.
Great day.
Almost a beautiful kick there at the 20-yard line. It just moved, had a little English, goes to the left side and out of bounds.
Well, a dangerous play by the Quakers. Alex Manley was one of the ones back there, and then also number 22. They kind of looked at Joey Strong. They kind of looked at each other, and neither one of them took it. Fortunately for the Quakers, it rolled out of bounds instead of staying in, or it would have been Wasp football.
So the Quakers will start. They'll take the football at the 35-yard line. 92 seconds left in the opening half, and Emory and Henry in front with a 23-point second quarter. They lead this one 33-6. And the Wasps do get the football to start the second half, too.
A little bit of rain starting to fall here at Fred Self Stadium.
Gassert will come out. He'll be in the gun. He'll have one back to his right, 4 wide on 1st and 10. Gassert will throw. Gassert looking. Now goes to the left side. Now we'll take off and run with it. It's got to the 35, the 40. Gassert's got a first down and does a nice job of getting out of bounds. And he'll just race up the sideline up to the 48. He gets out of bounds on the minute 24, picks up the first down.
The Wasps that time had dropped both linebackers deep trying to help out in that middle, and Gassert was looking in the middle. They had that slot, again, running that little skinny post down the middle of the field. That's who he was looking for.
1st and 10 coming up for the Quakers. More importantly, the clock stopped at their own 48. Gassert with 4 wide. Gassert drops back, looking. Throws the ball. It's deflected at the line, and it falls incomplete at the 48. Swegheimer got the deflection, but nobody from Emory could get it at midfield.
Ryan Gibson, if he had not slipped, Josh, I think he'd have had that. But Swagmeyer, again, applying the pressure, bats the ball up into the air.
And Swegheimer having himself a game so far. Already 4 tackles for loss and several sacks.
Put a little more time back on the clock.
They'll put 4 seconds back on the clock. It'll be a minute 15 off the incomplete, off the batted ball. Brings up 2nd and 10 now for the Quakers at their own 48. Gassert will stay in the gun. He'll have 4 wide again. And the football is ready for play. Gassert drops back, looks left, now looks right. Throws short, and the pass is caught over the middle. Short grab made there at the 48 by Purnell. Nice open field tackle there by Geddes. Makes it a third down play, 3rd and 7 coming up.
Yeah, Geddes coming up out of that strong safety position and making that tackle, shutting it down before they get a first. Give them about a 3rd and 6.
Clock is moving, 50 seconds and counting. It'll be 3rd and 6, as Gary mentioned, at the Emory 48. Gassert will drop back. Gassert this time has time. Gassert steps up in the pocket, and now he doesn't have time as he steps up into the awaiting arms of Tanner Dyer with a sack back to the midfield. Tanner Dyer, another freshman out of Bluff City.
Josh, I was watching Swagmeyer that time. They were taking his jersey off. That's why I said hold. But in the meantime, someone else gets him.
And the clock is on the move here. And I think Guilford may just run this clock out here. They're down to 15 seconds and counting. They don't have to run another play. Down to 10. Do they try one more play on a Hail Mary? That's what they might do here with 5 seconds. Down to 4. Gassert gets it. This will be the final play of the half, barring a defensive penalty. Throws deep down the left side, and the pass is intercepted. Going the other way for Emory is Dalton Wilson. Wilson looking for blocks. Wilson to the 35 and 40. Gets to midfield, runs into his own man, and then he actually is down at the 47, and that will end the half. There is a flag down, though, at the 37. We'll hold everything up here. Flag is down at the 37.
Yeah, this could be holding on the Wasps right here.
And the half cannot end on a defensive penalty. So if it is, the Quakers will have one more play.
No, it looks like it's going to go against the Quakers.
May have been on the return too, Gary.
No, it is hold on the Wasps.
But it is it was a hold on the return. So that's the reason why that the Quakers are walking off the field. But the second interception for this Emory and Henry secondary, and boy, what a second quarter for the Wasps. 23 in the second quarter, and they assume command in this one, leading at 33-6.
Yeah, that's one of their best second quarters, obviously this spring. But I mean, that time is such. They hit all the right things there. They had a really balanced offense with the run and the pass. The defense continues to choke out this Quaker defense, and the special teams even comes through. So it's kind of the trifecta for the Wasps here in the second quarter.
It's amazing when you've got balance on offense, the output that you can get. 316 total yards for the Wasps, only 73 total yards for this Quaker group. Again, they're still in negative yardage and rushing. They're negative 15 on the ground. Almost a 2-to-1 time of possession right now, Gary. And boy, if you could wrap things up in a bow and put it in a present, this is exactly what you want if you're Emory and Henry.
Well, and you got to remember too, 46 yards of that passing for the Quakers came on the next to last play of the first quarter. So you're really sitting there with 20, 25, 26 yards of offense.
Yeah, you definitely are. And it's been all Emory and Henry since about the latter part of the first quarter, and especially as we get into the second quarter as well. It's definitely been all Emory and Henry for this point. Well, we've reached the half here at Fred Self Athletic Stadium's Nice Wander Field as Emory and Henry leads it 33-6 over Guilford. We'll send it back to WEHC Studios. Make sure you stay tuned for the halftime segment led by, I believe, David St. Clair. And we will return with first half statistics and certainly the call here from Fred Self Athletic Stadium's Nice Wander Field. At the half, it's Emory and Henry 33, Guilford 6. You're listening to Emory and Henry College Football on 90.7 WEHC and the Emory and Henry Sports Network.
The 2020-21 Emory and Henry College Homecoming Court. The members of the court were voted on by their peers and represent numerous organizations on campus. The first members of the court are Adam Carrico and Haley Fry. Adam is the Kappa Phi Alpha Special K. Haley Fry is also representing Pi Delta Chi. Haley is a senior exercise science major from Saltville, Virginia. Along with being the Pi Delta Chi sweetheart, Haley is a member of the Pre-Health Club and a sister of Kappa Phi Alpha. Adam Carrico and Haley Fry. The next members of the court are Hayden Milley and Lauren Boyda. Hayden is representing Sigma Iota. Hayden is a senior health and human performance major from Clover, South Carolina. In addition to being a brother of Sigma Iota, Hayden is a co-captain of the baseball team and a member of the strength and conditioning club. Sierra Spriggs is standing in for Lauren Boyda tonight. Lauren is representing Alpha Beta Chi. Lauren is a senior doubling in business management and political science from Abingdon, Virginia. Along with being a sister of Alpha Beta Chi, Lauren serves on the Greek Council and the Greek Council Judicial Board. Hayden Milley and Lauren Boyda. Next on the homecoming court are Jordan Smith and Maggie Crutchfield. Jordan is representing Sigma Iota. Jordan is a senior accounting major from Bassett, Virginia. In addition to being a brother of Sigma Iota, Jordan is a member of the baseball team. Maggie Crutchfield is representing Kappa Phi Alpha. Maggie is a senior biology major from Rocky Mount, Virginia. Along with being a sister of Kappa Phi Alpha, Maggie is a member of the Beta 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 Biological Honor Society, Gamma Sigma Alpha Honor Society, and has served as the president of Kappa Phi Alpha, the Blue Key Honor Society, and is the current Greek Council president. Jordan Smith and Maggie Crutchfield. The next members of the court are Hunter Watson and Allison Cochran. Hunter is representing Beta Lambda Zeta. Hunter is a senior, double majoring in business and sport management from Jonesville, Virginia. Along with being a brother of Beta Lambda Zeta, Hunter is the Kappa Phi Alpha Special K. Allison is representing the Phi Eta Sigma Honor Society. Allison is a senior psychology and sociology double major from Pennington Gap, Virginia. Along with being a member of Phi Eta Sigma, Allison is a sister of Kappa Phi Alpha. Hunter Watson and Allison Cochran. Next on the court are Chase Polson and Mia Altizer. Chase Polson is representing Beta Lambda Zeta. Chase is a senior biology major from Roanoke, Virginia. Chase is the Delta Omicron Pi sweetheart and is also a member of the ASL Club, the American Chemical Society, Vice President of the Beta 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 Biological Honor Society, Vice President of the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, Vice President of the Gamma Sigma Alpha Honor Society, serves on the Greek Council Judicial Board, and is the captain of the men's soccer team. Mia Altizer is representing Pi Delta Chi. Mia is a senior sociology, crime, and society major from Abingdon, Virginia. Along with being the Pi Delta Chi sweetheart, Mia is a sister of Alpha Beta Chi and a member of the Sociology Club. Chase Polson and Mia Altizer. The next members of the court are Joe Talone and Macy Clark. Joe is representing the baseball team. He is a senior physics major from Charlotte, North Carolina. Joe is also a co-captain of the baseball team. Macy Clark is representing the Blue Key Honor Society. Macy is a senior interdisciplinary history major from Abingdon, Virginia. Along with being a member of Blue Key Honor Society, Macy is the president of Kappa Phi Alpha, the orientation chair, and serves on the Greek Council and Greek Council Judicial Board. Joe Chalone and Macy Clark. Next on the court are David Hopkins and Elizabeth Jones. David is representing Pi Sigma Kappa as their sweetheart. David is a senior acting major from Roanoke, Virginia. In addition to serving as the treasurer of the Theta Chi Epsilon fraternity, David is also the vice president of Alpha Psi Omega, a member of the choir, the Blue and Gold Honor Society, and is the Pi Sigma Kappa sweetheart. Elizabeth Jones is representing Delta Omicron Pi. Elizabeth is a senior exercise science major from Wytheville, Virginia. Along with being a sister of Delta Omicron Pi, Elizabeth is a member of Blue Key Honor Society and the women's basketball team. David Hopkins and Elizabeth Jones. The final members of our homecoming court are Micah Griffin and Tierney Zisk. Micah is representing Theta Chi Epsilon. Micah is a history and French double major from Danville, Virginia. Along with being a brother of Theta Chi Epsilon, Micah is a member of the rugby team, Campus Christian Fellowship, the Honors Program, and is the Delta Rho Delta sweetheart. Tierney is representing Delta Rho Delta. Tierney is a senior health and human performance major from Newcastle, Virginia. In addition to being a member of Delta Rho Delta, Tierney is a member of Gamma Sigma Alpha, Campus Christian Fellowship, Interfaith Student Union, the Emory and Henry Athletics Intern, the Emory United Methodist Church Work Study, a mass communication supplemental instructor, serves on the Greek Council Executive Board, and sings in the Emory United Methodist Church Choir. Micah Griffin and Tierney Zisk. Congratulations to all of our members of the 2020-21 Homecoming Court. And now it's time to announce our runners-up for King and Queen. The second runner-up for Homecoming King is David Hopkins. The second runner-up for Homecoming Queen is Tierney Zisk. The first runner-up for Homecoming King is Chase Polson. The first runner-up for Homecoming Queen is Macy Clark. Your 2020-21 Homecoming King is Micah Griffin. Your 2020-21 Homecoming Queen is Elizabeth Jones.
Lost your sash. Hey man, you got something? Put it in here. We have to get you a tighter belt there, fella. Don't drop it. This is good.
Congratulations again to all the members of the 2020-21 Homecoming Court.
Season now 18 sacks for a minus 142 yards. I mean, that's that's just unbelievable. And again, we've said this before, and I do not want to take anything away from the defense, but the offenses are always struggling early in the season. We've had an off season for over a year, and you expect to see defenses play a little bit better than the offense, but I mean, my gosh, 18 sacks and 142 yards of minus, and we got 2 more quarters of this one. And I know if I'm Gassard, that quarterback for the Quakers, I'm going to say, let's get this running game going because I ain't got time back here.
Right. I mean, that's a football field and a half of sacks, and that's just an amazing. It's hard to put into words, what that is. And, you've talked at the outset, Gary, about this offense, getting back to form. Boy, I think this game more than anything, that second quarter was a microcosm. If you're an Emory fan, you want to see them establish the run. Right now, the Wasps have done that. They are actually 146 yards on the ground. Overstreet's got 82 of those. Taylor's actually gotten 36. You've got TJ Tester and Jordan contributing to that as well. And most importantly, they've got the aerial attack. They've got 170 yards through the air. Elijah Rice has 129 of that. Gunnar Griffith had an amazing catch. So it's amazing when you distribute that wealth, so to speak, around the field and getting the football out to these guys. You're an opposing team. It's like, well, what do we do? Do we double team Rice? Do we focus on Overstreet? Yeah. I mean, what do we do?
Well, and we talked about at the opening of the broadcast that kind of the unintended consequences has been the last 2 games. We've got so much talent on that offensive side. How do I blend that all together and make use of all of it? Because if I can do that, there's not a defense that's going to be able to stop that. You've got Overstreet, you've got Rice, you've got Jordan, you've got Tester, you've got Hunter Taylor, you've got Gunnar Griffith. Where do you concentrate on? And so today, the Wasps offensive coaching staff's done a really good job of trying to incorporate all this talent that they've got and really put something out there that's just impossible to stop.
Yeah, 316 yards in the first half.
And if I were to say the one place where I think the Wasps need some improvement on that offense is we have not been able to run on the interior of the line. We just have not been able to open up the holes there. We've had a couple of quarterback keepers that's gone up through there, but Overstreet, Jordan, Tester, none of them have been able to crack that middle of the line. And you really need that, Josh. We've been down on the red zone a couple of times and got inside that 5-yard line, and that's where it shows up. We just have not been able to open up those holes and crack that end zone, and that's got to be solved. I mean, it's great that we're running on the end and we're able to sweep, and you've got, what's his name, Venhorst, road scraping out there, but you've got to be able to run between the tackles.
Yeah, it definitely shows up on goal lines, and Emory and Henry's been successful, but it's taken them several tries, and in defense to that, the Quakers actually held the Wasps to an opening field goal, and it's not been anything easy. Once it gets inside the 5, it's been tough for the Wasps. They've eventually gotten it, but largely because they've got 4 downs to get 2 yards or 4 downs to get 3 yards, but it's taken them 3 and sometimes 4 downs to get it.
Yeah, they're 4 for 4 in the red zone, but that one, it's been, like you said, it's not been easy, and then they held them off with a field goal. So that's one place where I do see the Wasps having to do something to correct that between the tackles, opening up some holes.
Meanwhile, if you look at the Guilford offensive stats on the other side, you can certainly see the effects of this Emory defense. Just 4 first downs for the Quakers, a combined 2 of 10 on 3rd and 4th down, only 73 yards of total offense. They have 88 yards passing, negative 15 yards on the ground. They've been sacked. Gassert's been sacked 5 times. He's been hurried throughout this contest. The Wasps also have 2 interceptions. The Quakers had 60 yards of penalties in the first quarter of this one. They're getting dominated on time of possession. Gassert is 5 of 14 to the air, 88 yards. Their leading ball carrier has 4 yards on 3 attempts. Russell has had the 146-yard reception, and that's been it for Russell. Norman had the lone touchdown catch for the Quakers, but that's been it. The Wasps have really stymied one of the major offensive weapons of this Quaker group right now.
Right. It's going to be interesting, too, Josh, seeing this second half. I don't anticipate the Quakers going away from trying to throw the ball down the middle of the field. They have found an opening in there. They've split those 2 safeties. I just wonder if Coach Tommy Buzzo, will go to a little bit of cover 3, put a safety right in the middle of the field, and try to shut that down. They obviously have decided we're not going to pick on those corners. We're going to go for the middle of the field. So, like I say, I would anticipate that we see a little bit of cover 3, and we back that safety up in the middle of the field and dare you to throw down through there, because Ryan Gibson, he is a good athlete. Ryan Gibson out of Tennessee High, and he really plays that center field very, very well.
He does, and certainly, in the second half it'll be interesting to see. You think, well, it's a 40-point game, or right now it's at 27. If this gets any larger, will you see, other folks coming into the game? You certainly will, but again, we talked about this at the outset. The Wasps are looking at point differential right now. We talked about this crossover game that takes place on April the 2nd, and it's one of those things where, the Wasps are going to look to score, and certainly, if it's a different group of guys out there at some point, they're going to have the same focus out there in these last 30 minutes.
Well, we haven't seen much of Talik Steele. He's that freshman quarterback out of Rock Hill, South Carolina. He came in for a little bit last week and showed some pretty good talent there. If this score continues to widen, I would think we'd see more of Talik. And, last week we saw Talik in there with T.J. Tester, and we also saw him in there with the Jordan kid. And so that was pretty potent right there. So I don't think there'll be a lot of drop-off with those guys in the lineup.
No, and it wouldn't. And it's like with anything else, you've worked hard in practice. You will get out there. You want to show everybody, what you've been working on. So you almost seem like you get an adrenaline boost, when you get out there. And
Hunter Taylor, I mean, we've talked about this for 4 years with Hunter. He is not going to go to the sideline if he can get an extra yard. That sometimes, has its negative effects, and sometimes he's had to go out of the game. So you need to get a little experience with your backup quarterback. And this second half may be one of those places that it presents itself.
Ratliff set to kick to start things in the second half for the Quakers. The dangerous tandem of Jordan and Rice are back deep. It'll be interesting to see if they get a chance here. Ratliff may try to send this one into the field house if he can. Ratliff has it on the tee, and he has it away. Good kick, but returnable. Jordan takes it at his 3 to the 10, to the 15, to the 20. To the 23, sidesteps, and Jordan spins away, and then he's going to be tackled. So good job on coverage there by the Quakers. Tyrese Petaway, a sophomore running back there, made the initial hit, and then he got the tackle. Forward progress will give Jordan up to the 23-yard line.
Jordan doesn't come down easy, does he?
No.
I mean, it's a one-on-one tackle with him. Is probably got to take his feet out from under him.
So the Wasps will start the second half, 1st and 10 from their own 23, going right to left on your radio dial. If you're listening, streaming to us worldwide, going right to left from the home side. We're glad you're with us. Emory Henry leads at 33-6. Taylor will go in the pistol, Overstreet behind him. He'll have 3 receivers on 1st and 10. Taylor ready for the snap. Play action. Throws short, and the pass is caught by T.J. Tester. Juggling makes had to go up and get it. Makes 2 tackles. Stiff arm. T.J. Tester showing the fortitude there as he dives up to the 28. High throw there from Taylor. Boy, T.J. Tester fighting his way for a gain of 7.
Sometimes I think the skills and talents of somebody like Elijah Rice, who just won't stop, rubs off on the other guys. And, all of a sudden they're doing the same thing. TJ broke, 3 tackles right there?
Yeah, he did. Just a little pass out in the flat.
Yeah.
Actually, they'll give him 6, but still a gain, very positive gain on first down. 2nd and 4 for the Wasps now at their own 29. Taylor in the gun. You give us to Overstreet. Reverses field. Boy, Bryce Smith meets him in the hole. They'll give him forward progress to the 30, but that's about it. Nice tackle there for Smith, the linebacker out of Loganville, Georgia.
Looked like there was a little bit of a hole that time there, Josh, but it closed quickly. And it looked like Overstreet may have stumbled a little bit. But, again, the Wasps trying to penetrate that interior of that Quaker defense with not much success.
3rd and 3 coming up for the Wasps, their own 30. Just underway here in the second half. Emory up 33-6. Taylor with 2 backs, 1 to either side. Receivers on 3rd and 3. Taylor ready for the snap. Play action. Taylor throws short. Passes called by Rice. Makes a move at the 40. Midfield. Rice into the Emory Guilford territory. 2 more moves. Elijah Rice. Hello. Touchdown. 70 yards. Oh, my goodness. 2 moves on the sideline and then shows the speed. Elijah Rice, have yourself a day.
Boy, after he put those 2 moves on there and shake those 2 defenders, you talk about turning on the Jets. But again, Josh, those 2 safeties were walked up within 8 yards of the line of scrimmage, and you left Rice out there again by himself. All he did is run a little hitch route, and now you got to tackle him one-on-one in open field. It ain't going to be done.
Whew. Rice finding his way to the end zone again. And Emory and Henry looking to add the 40th point. Snap is down. Baber's kick on the way. It is up and good. And with 13:22 to go in this third quarter, Emory and Henry uses a mere 1 minute and 38 seconds, and the strike to Rice goes for 70 yards.
Rice erases his 52-yard longest with a 70-yarder, 199 yards of receptions today for Elijah Rice. But again, you put him out there by himself. It doesn't take a genius to realize I've got Rice man-to-man coverage with a lot of green grass in front of him. So,
Wasps with a 40-burger already in this one, and we've just started almost 400 yards of total offense. Taylor now at 246, and as you mentioned, Elijah Rice, 6 catches for 199 yards.
Yeah, and Josh, this kid is a transfer out of Lewisburg College, and boy, are we glad to have him. He is a junior, so he's got 2 years of eligibility starting this fall.
That's
so
exciting.
He'll be around in 2021 and 2022.
Baber set to kick. Last 2 have gone out of bounds. This one's going to stay in bounds. This is like a pitching wedge to the 25. Quickly up to the 35 and the 40. And a nice return for Guilford up to almost midfield, as it is trying to see who the return there for Guilford was. That was Joey Strong Jr. And, boy, Guilford's taking advantage of these return yards. They've got good field position again, this time at the 48.
Well, I'm sure the Newsom not happy with his kickoff team right now. I mean, we've given up about 3 returns. They've brought it to close to midfield. We've tried kicking it, little pooch shots. That's not worked. We've kicked it deep, and that's not worked. So this will be an item the Wasps will work on in the next 2 or 3 weeks.
So Gassert will come out. He's been at quarterback position the whole way for Guilford. He'll be in the gun with 4 wide on 1st and 10 from the 48. Gassert gets it. Quick handoff is to Hutchinson, and again, not running room there. Guess who? Swegheimer right there to drop him for no gain.
They're just not, we talked about the Wasps haven't been able to penetrate between the tackles, but it's the same story on the other side of the ball.
No gain. At least it's not a negative gain. It's no gain. That brings up 2nd and 10 for the Quakers to their own 48. Gassert will be in the gun again. They'll go 4 wide. Emory with 3 down linemen on this defensive series. Gassert drops back. Gassert with time. Hit as he throws, and the pass is almost intercepted. Oh, Donovan Penick there almost had a gift at midfield.
Almost. And guess who rushed that pass? Number 9, Swagmeyer.
Boy, it's just number 9, Swegheimer is everywhere.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's everywhere right now. He goes on the side, he goes up the middle, and, that's a 3-man rush, Gary.
Yeah, because Shambliss is the drop back guy on that triple stack.
4 wide on 3rd and 10. Gassert again stays in the gun, and he'll drop back. Emory brings the blitz. Gassert running for his life, gets away from one defender, throws off his back foot, and the pass is nice grab out there. Coming back to get the football at the original line of scrimmage, I believe, was Norman. Nice tackle out there by Crimes, and all of that goes for no gain.
Yeah, no gain. That time Swagmeyer and Chambliss were dead on the heels of Gassert. He was just running for his life.
So after a decent return and good field position, the Quakers cannot move the football a yard.
Yeah, they end up with no yards on that possession.
Ratliff set to kick, and Elijah Rice is back deep. Low snap. Has to pick it up off the carpet. Does a good job. Boy, nice kick. Rice will signal for the fair catch at about the 18-yard line. I think Ratliff's got to be the player of the game for the Quakers.
Well,
right
I
now.
do too. I was going to say he is their best weapon right now. Those punts are just not returnable by Rice, and good job of fair catch. I always like to see them fair catch the ball if they possibly can. Do not let that ball roll. And Rice does a good job of getting underneath it, keeping his arms in tight. A good sure-handed, right down the gut there catch. So here we go with Jordan and Overstreet in the backfield with Hunter Taylor.
They'll have receivers to either side. Muncie and Griffith are the receivers. Taylor in the gun with backs to either side on 1st and 10 from the 18. Taylor ready for the snap. Give it to Overstreet, off left tackle, looking for blockers. He has the 20, gets to the 25, and it's just Overstreet running straight to the left side, dives forward. He's close to a first down at the 29, and I think he has it.
Yeah, Ethan Muncie and DeAndre Jordan that time blocking on that edge.
It is a first down. So, again, just straight to the left side against Overstreet. Not a whole lot of pizzazz on that, just straight running to the left.
And, again, Josh, I sound like a broken record, but these two Guilford safeties, that's why they're walking up in there. But, well, you've got Gunnar Griffith up there at the top again, single coverage with no help whatsoever.
It'll be 1st and 10 for the Wasps, thrown 29 after the gain of 11. Taylor gives it to Jordan. Jordan cuts back to the 30. Nice cutback by Jordan, dragging tacklers up to the 37. Gain of 8, and that might be the best interior run of the day so far.
Yeah, that is by far. Jordan has tried to pick on that middle a couple of times, but that time with some success.
And you like to see the Wasps very patient on offense here and getting those chunks of yards in 8 and 9 and 6.
Yeah, that time the Quakers walked their strong safety up in for another linebacker there, and left the free safety all alone in the very back of that secondary. Boy.
2nd and 2 now for the Wasps, thrown 37. Backs to either side, again receivers to either side. Taylor in the gun on 2nd and 2. Play action up, gives it to Tester to the 40. First down. TJ Tester with a nice blocking out there by Ethan Muncie. And TJ Tester off left tackle there, almost like a trap play. Gets it down to the 46 and a first down.
I am impressed with our punter. Ethan Muncie is our punter. He's that sophomore out of Tennessee High, Bluff City. Most punters are sitting over here, on the sideline with their helmet off watching. But Muncie's made a couple of passes and then some good blocks.
And again, good to see TJ Tester get into the mix there. Nice run, and gets to the Guilford 47. So the Wasps, under 10 minutes to go in this third quarter, they'll have it 1st and 10 at the 47. Again, backs to either side of Taylor. Receivers to either side on 1st and 10. They'll go Overstreet off right tackle this time. Overstreet gets to the 45 and stands up and sits down and goes forward up to the 44. Again, Bryce Smith there was the first man to meet him. It'll be a gain of 3. Again, what Emory's trying to do, they're trying to follow Venhorst there on that inside play.
The Wasps rarely use their tight end as a receiver. He is really a H-back, a blocking back. And last week, they tried several people there. Coach Newsom told me they had kind of settled this week on Venhorst out of Lynchburg, and he's really done a great job.
2nd and about 7 for the Wasps at the Guilford 44. 9 minutes to go in this third quarter. 40-6, Emory leads it. Taylor, play action. He'll throw. Pump fake. Throws out there in the flat. Dangerous pass. Flag is down. He was looking for Gunnar Griffith. And Gunnar Griffith there was looking out there in the flat. Couldn't get it there. Nice coverage out there by the cornerback. We've got a flag down at the front of the line. Nice coverage out there by Jaden James.
There may have been a false start there on the Wasp or
formation.
Formation. No, what?
That'd be a chop block.
Chop block.
That's a rarity that you see in this day and age, but Emory
sure
guilty
is.
of a chop block, and that's 15 yards.
Chop block, Josh, happens when you've got a defender engaged by one blocker and then another blocker takes his legs at it. It's a very dangerous block, and it's been done away with, or they try to really focus on, doing away with that. Coaches don't teach it. A lot of times it's just an accident, but it is very, very dangerous on the legs of these defensive linemen.
And that's why the severity of the 15 yards is now on this play. So Emory's first flag of the game.
Wow.
And it moves them back to their own 41.
Well, look down here at the bottom of the field. We got Elijah Rice all alone.
Lined up against Jawan Lockhart. Taylor gives it to Grayson Overstreet on 2nd and 22. Grayson Overstreet to the 45, cuts back up to midfield, and he'll get back to the original line of scrimmage. That was the Guilford 47. That'll be a gain of 12. So it makes it a third down, makes it a manageable 3rd and 10 now.
I'm telling you what, we're starting to look like the old Green Bay Packers with these sweeps, aren't we not?
Yeah. Yeah, just to the numbers, to the left, to the right, not a whole lot through the middle. And the Wasps here on 3rd down and 10 will have 4 receivers in the formation. We'll have Rice and Griffith, Kosey and Muncie are the receivers. The deep back is going to be Tester. He's going to line up to the right side of Taylor in the gun on 3rd and 10. Taylor ready for the snap. He'll drop back. It's going to be the draw to Tester. Right up the gut to the 45. TJ Tester breaks the tackle. Dives forward. He's just short of the first down. I like the call on 3rd and 10. It gets down to the 34.
That's the first draw we've seen this year from the Wasps. That's not a play we commonly run, but I think you got to go for it here, 4th and 2, and I think they're going to.
They'll bring in substitutions here. Venhorst comes back in. They also bring in Jordan. It's going to be Jordan and Tester in the backfield for the Wasps on 4th and 2 from the Guilford 39. Receivers to either side on 4th and 2. Taylor ready for the snap. Taylor gets it. Tester off left tackle. Dives forward. Second effort.
Nope.
Oh, gosh. The rough spot there at the 38. Looked like Tester had dove for the first down.
Yeah.
They're going to whistle him at the 38, and that's going to be short.
Man.
That's an interesting spot there. Looked like he dove forward and got it, but he's going to be short, and the Quakers hold on downs. It looked like the opening was there, and it looked like Tester had dove effectively for the first down, but apparently before the dive, his knee was down. Apparently it was marked at the 38.
I think when they review that in the film session, they're going to see Tester may have wanted to turn upfield just a little bit quicker on that instead of flattening that out.
So the Quakers hold on downs. They'll get it at the 38 to start things. 7:08 to go. And it's going to be a new quarterback as he hands off to Strong Jr. That's Darian Phillips. We talked about him at the outset. So Phillips in there at quarterback for the Quakers, and a nice gain on first down. Actually, their largest gain of the day, the gain of 8 to Strong Jr.
Darian Phillips is probably the better runner of the two, would you say, Josh?
Yes.
So maybe they've decided that this passing, we've got to get the quarterback into the running game.
So it'll be Phillips taking things here on 2nd and about 3 from the 45. He'll be in the gun with 4 wide. Strong Jr. will line up to his left. Phillips ready for the snap. Bad snap! Phillips has to scramble and get it, and right there, as he is taken down at the 34, he covers up Swegheimer right there, and he barely got back to the football. That'll be a loss of 10.
And if he had tried to pick that up, I think we'd had Gassard back in as quarterback.
Yes,
I mean, that was
wise move by Phillips there.
Just stay down, son. Stay down.
Brings up 3rd down now and about 13 for the Quakers.
Tough spot for a new quarterback right here.
Phillips in the gun with 4 wide. Strong Jr. to his left. 3-man front for the Wasps now on 3rd and 14. Phillips drops back. Phillips under pressure, steps up in the pocket. He's going to be tackled by Mighty from behind. Mighty with the sack back at the 32.
That time the Wasps lined up in that triple stacker, that 3-man 3 down, brought Mighty from the edge as a linebacker, kind of delayed little blitz there. Nobody blocked him whatsoever. This Quaker offensive line having a really tough time with that, with the different looks that Coach Tommy Buzzo's giving them with that front.
6th sack of the day for this Emory and Henry line. And it brings out Ratliff for yet another punt. First time that we've seen Jacob Patton back deep for the Wasps.
Well, that is Patton. Last year was our punt returner, but he had strict instruction from Newsom, nothing but fair catches.
Ratliff with a punt, ready to go. Gets it in the air. Boy, what a kick. High kick. Patton does his job, signals for the fair catch at the 26-yard line. That's a punt of 44. And again, another non-returnable punt from Ratliff.
Patton, one of the bigger return men you'll ever see in Division III. Jacob Patton is a tight end. He's out of Kingsport, Dobbins Bennett. 6'1", 235, Josh. Defense is the kicking team always says, thank you, Coach, for the fair catches that you've told Patton to, because that's a load.
And he does the most important thing, makes the catch.
Yep, and we got a new quarterback for the Wasps.
It'll be Talik Steele in for the Wasps on 1st and 10. Steele takes it right up the gut. Steele to the 30, dives forward, and he's got nearly 9 on 1st down. Just a straight quarterback run there on 1st down for the freshman out of Rock Hill, South Carolina.
So you finally take Hunter out of the game, but then you hand us Steele. So
Steele looks really comfortable up there at the helm.
And you know, Josh, Newsom has said he's so happy with this young man.
Steele in the gun on 2nd and 1. The late give us to Jordan. Nice cutback by Jordan. 1st down, gets up to the 40, bangs off a tackler up to the 42, and a gain of 7. The thing I like about Jordan, Gary, is that he spins off that initial contact, doesn't take initial contact, and really uses that momentum for a few more yards.
Yeah, that spin move he's got, you know, he and Rice both are pretty efficient, that spin move. And Swagmeyer, I got to say, he's Swagheimer, he's –
1st and 10 for the Wasps at the 42. Under 4 minutes to go in this third quarter. 40-6, Emory leads it. Steele throws behind the receiver. Oh, what a grab by Ethan Muncie. Sliding grab at the 45 on the slant pattern. That ball was behind him. Boy, Muncie showing off his catch radius down to the 44 Guilford.
Muncie, that tough punter we got there. But now, Talik Steele has got quite the release, and we'll talk about that a little more after this play, but he's got a really quick release. 1st
and 10 now at the Guilford 44. Steele keeps it, and boy, he goes backwards. He didn't fool Guilford in the middle there. That was Zach Hamilton, the sophomore there, knocks Steele backwards, and it'll be no gain back to the 44.
Well, I think the coaching staff is saying that's the play where you hand it off to Jordan, Talik. That's not your play.
They'll bring up 2nd and 10 now for the Wasps, again at the Guilford 44. Receivers to either side. Steele will be in the gun with backs to either side. Steele, play action. No, because it faked me out, gives it to Tester. Nice fake up the middle. Tester gets it down to the 39, a gain of 5. Boy, he faked me out twice on that one.
Coach Newsom has told me, he's so happy to have Talik Steele as someone that can take over the reign. Hunter Taylor has been such a phenomenal quarterback and meant so much to this team. And next year, I think he's the best quarterback in the ODAC, and I think he's going to have a great year next year. But gosh almighty, is it not reassuring to have somebody like Talik Steele sitting behind him.
They bring up 3rd and 5. Steele gives it to Jordan. Jordan makes a nice move at the 40. 1st down to 35. Jordan makes another man miss, and Manley trips him up, but not before Devontae Jordan gets it down to the 26 and a 1st down.
Jordan's kind of running back that can hurt some ankles.
Yes.
He
hurt mine up here.
Yeah, that move he put on, and actually the safety is going out. It looks like. No, he's back. But anyway, he can break some ankles out there with some of those moves.
1st down gain on the ground again for the Wasps, now the Guilford 26. We approach 2 minutes to go in this fast-moving third quarter, and Emory's up 40-6. Steele in the gun. He'll have Jordan and Tester to either side on 1st and 10. And we've got whistles down on the play, and I believe Emory may have called a timeout before the play clock expired, or did they not?
No, Alex Manley looks like he's the guy that Jordan put that move on, and he got up a little bit gingerly, and now he's down on the field. So it's official timeout for an injury.
While we have this break in the action, we want to tell you that Emory and Henry football is underwritten by Food City, where you'll find value every day. Locally owned and operated for more than 90 years with over 135 convenient locations. Food City is a proud sponsor of Emory and Henry College football.
And we're also brought to you by First Bank and Trust. They offer mobile banking, Apple Pay, remote deposits, and so much more. They've been serving the community with free checking since 1979. They're a member of the FDIC, and if you want to check them out, you can at firstbank.com.
Manley still is sitting up. They're looking at one of his legs, and they've got him back up, and it's good to see Manley walk off. He has been a workhorse on this defensive unit all game long. He's the leading tackler, and boy, he has he's made a nice transition from quarterback to a very dependable defensive back for this Quaker group.
Yeah, and last year when I think it was 2 years ago, they moved him to the safety in the secondary. And I know you talked with the coach down there. I can't pronounce his name, but they said they needed somebody like him in that secondary.
Yeah, they do, and he's just trying to shake it off, whatever slight injury. We hope it's just a slight injury. He's walking off under his own power.
Well, he got kind of juked there by Jordan and kind of went down a little odd on that knee.
So 1st and 10, Steele has the football, throws it deep down the right sideline, and it's almost intercepted. It's knocked away. He was looking for Gunnar Griffith, very similar to that wheel play earlier in the first half. This time, double coverage out there at the 3-yard line. Pass was incomplete. It was deflected at the end by, I believe, Perry Tingen.
Well, that time Gunnar Griffith was trying to fake as if he was going to block because it was a play-action pass, and then he took off. And if not for that safety that helped that corner, that he would have been wide open.
2nd and 10 for the Wasps at the Guilford 26. They give us to Jordan. Jordan tries to get outside, gets away from one defender. Now reverses field. Look out. Jordan gets a block at the 25. Jordan at the 20, the 10, the 5. There is a flag, though. He scores, but this one might be coming back. He reversed field beautifully, and he goes in from 26 yards out, but this is in the area where this may be coming back.
Well, it's a personal foul here on the Wasps. Looks like maybe
a crackback block,
maybe
I think.
Yeah, or unnecessary roughness. I'm not sure, but it is on the Wasps. It's coming back, 15-yarder from the spot. And
I believe, because of the reversal of field, we didn't see it, but it's in the vicinity of where you have those crackback blocks where you're coming back, and they're the blindside blocks that are now illegal. Those cannot be done anymore. Otherwise, it will draw a personal foul penalty. And not confirming that, but certainly when you see a run like that in a reversal, that's usually the first thing that you think about. Mm-hmm. So take the exciting touchdown off the board for Jordan. It's going to bring up 2nd down and 26.
Is the white hat going to get? Here we go. All right, so I don't know.
So 2nd down and 26 coming up here. 2nd down and 26 for the Wasps at the 41. It's going to be the draw to Tester. Tester up the middle to the 40, spin moves. Gets to the 38, dives forward to the 37-yard line. Ty Walker there on the stop for the Quakers. It'll bring up 3rd down and very long for the Wasps at the 37. It brings up 3rd down and still about 20.
Yeah, and that was a block in the back. And, the bad thing about that, Josh, is Jordan was already headed to the end zone. There was no need for that contact.
3rd and 20 for the Wasps, trying to regain some yardage after that penalty. Under a minute to go in this 3rd quarter. Emory leads at 40-6. Steele will be in the gun with 4 wide. Tester to his right. Steele will throw on 3rd and 20. Steele with time, throws out in the flat. Pass is caught by Patton. Nice grab out there by Patton. And he's out of bounds on the out pattern down to the 30. So the Wasps get 7 more of that yardage back and now face a 4th down and about 13.
Well, and they're kind of in that no man's land. There's no need to try and punt it from the 30-yard line, but I think they're a little bit far out for a field goal. So
about the 30-yard line here, the Wasps will go for it here with 20 seconds and counting left in the quarter. And the Wasps, because of the play clock, do not have to run another play if they don't want.
They're going to let the quarter go and come down to the other side of the field. If there is any wind at all, I don't think there is, and they're not going to kick it. So just give them a little time to talk, Josh.
So we've reached the end of the 3rd quarter with the score, Emory and Henry 40, Guilford 6, and the Wasps 15 minutes away from getting to that critical third win in this spring season. And we've talked a little bit about this in the pregame, Gary, but that third win, because of the cancellation 2 weeks from today with the W&L game, this will be Emory's last game for about 3 weeks.
Yeah, it will, and Coach Newsom is really concerned about that because that's a 3-week layoff. It puts them in a 3-0 position in this half of the ODAC, so there's a really good chance they're going to be in the championship game, but you've got 3 weeks to try and, somehow or another keep your sharpness, and they certainly look, this is the third game in a row, and they look much sharper today than they have in any of the two previous.
Right.
But, boy, and I've noticed in the NCAA basketball, these teams that have to sit out 2 and 3 weeks, they come back and play that first game, and they don't – it just is not there, and I think their timing's off, and I think Coach Newsom's really worried about that.
Yeah, meanwhile, the other two teams in the mix, Randolph-Macon and Hampton-Sydney, their off week is this week.
Yep.
So they will actually they still have 2 more scheduled games. So it'll be interesting to see how the Wasps, play this out over the next few weeks and what happens. So as we start the fourth quarter, the Wasps will go for it on 4th and 13 from the Guilford 30. Steele remains in the game at quarterback. He'll throw on 4th down. He has time, all kinds of time.
Oh, there.
Steele looking. Now he's going to take off and run with it. Gets to the 30. Flag will bring this back, though, as he's short of the first down anyway at the 20. And the penalties are starting to pile up here a little bit on the Wasps here in the second half.
We've got obviously some new players in. We'll try and get those names to you. But, yeah, that time it's going to be a hold against the Wasp. And Patton was open in the middle of the field, but Steele did not see him, so now they're just going to punt the ball after this penalty.
Well, they'll decline it. Yeah,
excuse me. Yeah, it is 4th down.
Yeah, they'll decline the penalty because Steele was short of the first down, and so the Quakers will take over at their own 20. A lot of flags, Gary, behind the play. After the play goes past and running wise, and you normally see that out of a new group sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Over anxious, wanting to make a contribution, wanting to show up on the film.
Yes, and saving your quarterback too.
Yeah, and then that too.
So 1st and 10 coming up here as the Quakers will have it from the 20-yard line. And we've got running back up the middle is Strong Jr. Short gain of maybe 1 on the play. So wholesale substitutions in for both teams now.
Yeah, and here the Quakers are down 34. But you just can't abandon the run, let this defense pin their ears back and come after you.
Phillips in there for his second series. It's 2nd down and 9 for the Quakers at just outside their own 20. He's in the gun with 4 wide. Phillips ready for the snap. Phillips gives it off right tackle to Strong Jr. Schwegheimer has him by his ankles, and he'll dive forward for another couple of yards up to the 24. It'll bring up 3rd down and 6 for the Quakers as we are at 14 minutes left in this one.
Yeah, we got a new corner out here, Terrell Mackenheimer out of Roanoke Northside High School. He's a sophomore. He's at this corner now.
Brings up 3rd and that's 6 as we called it from the 24-yard line. Phillips will be in the gun. 4 wide receivers. Phillips drops back. Phillips under pressure, looking. Ivan Phillips got him by the ankles. Did he get the ball out? Will they call it a sack or an incompletion? They will call it an incomplete pass. It's Phillips just got rid of it before Ivan Phillips dropped him for a loss.
There was really no one over there to throw it to. He's outside the tackle box, but and that ball did not get back to the line of scrimmage, so it could have been an intentional grounding, but it's 40-6.
Yeah, and it's a good play. Good play altogether. Mm-hmm. So again, they'll call upon Ratliff, who has been the shining star on this special teams unit. Emory had 12 on the field, and they barely got that last one off. Almost blocked. Meanwhile, is Ratliff. That ball actually his worst punt of the day, but 2 guys are almost on him, and he actually will fall dead at about the 46-yard line. So it'll be a 25-yard kick. And the Wasps will take over 1st and 10 at their own 46, 13:25 left in this one, and the Wasps lead it by 34.
Yeah, and Patton again back for the punt. Elijah Jordan looks like he's called it a day. He's not been in on the last 2 offensive series and not been back for the punts either. So I think Elijah has called it a day for the day, and I know the Quakers are glad of that.
So again, we will see Talik Steele, the quarterback, has been in for his 3rd series now here, as he will be in the pistol on 1st and 10. Tester is behind him with 3 receivers. Now he'll go to the gun. Steele ready for the snap. They give us to Tester off left tackle to the 45. TJ Tester dives forward, almost to midfield. They'll be stopped at about the 49-yard line. TJ Tester now almost at 50 yards for the day on 7 carries.
Talik Steele, I think you're going to see a little more running game here. 13:03 left in this 4th quarter. I think the Wasps are going to go ahead and shorten this game, keeping it on the ground. But you never know with Talik. I mean, he's quite the runner himself.
252 on the ground, 267 through the air for Emory. Steele in the gun on 2nd down and 7. Play action. Steele throws over the middle. Pass is tipped and intercepted. Going the other way is Guilford. Breaking a tackle up to the 35, up to midfield, and into Emory territory off the deflection and then the interception made, I believe, by Isaiah Jeffrey on the reception. So turnover there by Steele there as it was deflected and into the hands of the Guilford defender, who, nice return there for the Quakers. They set up at the Emory 45.
Yeah, not a bad pass. It just came out of the hands of the Wasp receiver and into the hands of the Quakers. So now we got a whole bunch of new faces here on the Wasp defense. So we'll try to get some of those names to you. I know Ty Easley is going to be that corner over on the left side, and already Terrell McEnheimer is in at this corner.
DeJuan Lockhart with the interception for Guilford, and the Quakers start at the Emory 45, one of their best field positions all game. They give us to Joseph Brown, freshman out of Kernersville, North Carolina, and he, like most of the Guilford runners today, not a whole lot there, maybe 1 to the 44.
Yeah, and Logan Tomlinson is one of the linebackers out of Gates City now, along with Nate Hamilton. We saw him some last week at that inside linebacker.
Harley Hilton in as well for Emory and Henry. 2nd and 9. Play action from Phillips. Phillips steps up in the pocket, passes, deflected and almost intercepted. Should have been picked, but Logan Tomlinson couldn't hang on. He actually felt was falling backwards, couldn't get the interception at the 25. So Tomlinson there in the game, as Gary mentioned, the freshman, almost had his first career college interception.
Yeah, whole bunch of new secondary. Number 44, Carter Counts out of Abingdon, in at that free safety position.
And doing a good job so far. Brings up 3rd and 9. They forced Guilford into a 3rd and long. Phillips will be in the gun. Phillips, blitz coming. Phillips steps up again, and he goes down. It will be officially a sack, and I believe they're going to give that one to Jordan Mighty as he'll drop him back for a yard loss to the 45. Mighty ran across the field to make that sack.
Jordan Mighty has some speed. I'm telling you, when he gets after a quarterback, he can go.
So another sack for the Wasps now. That is now 7. 7 sacks for Emory and Henry.
20 for the season. That one was probably only a yard or so.
But it still counts one way or the other.
It still counts.
Ratliff again with another punt. Trying to pin this one deep. Patton will let this ball bounce. Oh, boy, inside the 10, inside the 5, and out of bounds at the 3-yard line. Boy, Ratliff has been on today. That's a 41-yard punt, and that is about as well as you could draw that one up. Out of bounds at the 4. I mean, it's just been everything that he has done today, as far as punting. That's his 8th punt.
I was going to say, that's his 8th punt, so, he's getting a lot of practice. He'll be icing that leg down tonight.
Just over 40 yards on the average, and certainly he is the best punter we've seen so far. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Wasps as they start things back at their own 4. 11:07 left in this one, and Emory leads at 40-6. Again, it'll be Steele in the gun, actually in his end zone. He'll give the hand. Actually, he'll keep it right off tackle.
Drops it.
And he dives forward, and Steele still going outside the 10, rolling up to the 11.
Josh, he had some running room over there on that side, but he dropped the ball after he pulled it out of the stomach of the running back. So if he hadn't have dropped that ball, he would have been scooting up the sideline.
He still gains 7. It'll bring up 2nd and 3 for the Wasps now. Wholesale changes coming in for Guilford as well. So if you've got a uniform on today, you might get in the game somewhere.
Yep. Well, and it's as it should be.
Absolutely. Steele will give it. He'll go to Jordan off right tackle.
Uh-oh.
Jordan gets to the 15. Dances outside to the 20. Devontae Jordan dances to the 25, still going, and then he pirouettes out of bounds. Actually, they'll say he stepped out at the 25. Doesn't matter. It's a first down, gain of 15.
He is one elusive running back. You look at the size of it. I mean, he's not that big, but, boy, he has got some strength in those legs, and he is an elusive running back.
Actually, it'll give him to the 29, so call that a gain of almost 19. And with 10:20 to go, the Wasps will have it 1st and 10 from their own 29, leading it 40-6. Steele with backs to either side on 1st and 10. Late give to Tester. Tester, nice block out there by Jordan. TJ Tester puts his head down, gets close to another first down. He lowers the boom on Tyler Wilson, and that is another first down to the 40.
Boy, great block that time by Devontae Jordan on this edge here. He just sealed it off and made it possible for TJ to get that extra yards.
So the Wasps here approaching 300 yards on the ground today. This is like W&L's numbers.
Yeah, they're
like
like 12 yards from 300 yards and with 9:50 to go, and so.
And certainly you'd think they'd keep it on the ground here, 1st and 10 from the 40. Nope, Steele will take it on the left side. Trying to get a block from Tester. Does. Steele to the 45, midfield. Talik Steele's got a first down into Guilford territory at the 48.
And that may put him over that 300-yard mark. But Talik Steele, one of the things Coach told me about Talik Steele, they've tried to recruit quarterbacks that are, Hunter Taylor's made for this RPO.
Mm-hmm.
He feels like this is the first one they've gotten that's been that quarterback that's suited for this RPO type of offense. A good thrower, passer, runner, a real threat.
Right at 300 on the day on the ground, 1st and 10. They give us to Jordan. Jordan goes to right side, stops, and then is dropped backwards in one of the few negative yardage plays of the day. Coming up and make the stop was Zach Hamilton.
Yeah.
Actually, fortunate that Jordan, they give him back to the line of scrimmage. Looked like he might have been tackled for a loss.
Well, you see the effects of these sweeps are starting to spread out and stretch this Guilford defense. So hopefully that may open up something in the middle for besides we have run a couple of draws. It's been done well. 2nd
and 10 from the Guilford 48. Steele, play action. Rolls right. Gets a nice block. Going to run with it to the 45 and then gets out of bounds. Nice scramble away from pressure. And Steele actually makes it look easy. He gets it down to the 44. It'll be a gain of about 4.
Well, nice decision by Steele that time because the receiver was not open. Muncie out there was not open, and Steele pulls it down. Very alert play to pull it down, go around that right side.
Petaway there giving chase for the Quakers. It'll bring up 3rd and 6 for the Wasps at the Guilford 44. 8:20 left in this one. And Emory leads at 40-6. Steele gets the snap. Late give to Tester. Tester gets outside, not much running room there. He actually gets back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it.
Yeah, they're going to bring on the punting team with 8:05 left in this fourth quarter. It's 4th and 6, so I don't think there's going to be a decision here.
Steele was waiting out there hoping that he would be able to get the call, but
well, you never want to see him bring the punting team on, no matter if it's 4th and 15, 4th and 20. If you're that, you're getting a chance to play here in the fourth quarter. Come on, Coach, let me take a shot at it.
Twin backs back for Guilford and Muncie,
and
ready to punt. Snap is good. He angles this away. Fair catch made at the 12-yard line. Caught for Guilford. That was caught by, I believe, Thomas Laws. It'll be a kick of about 40 yards.
It's only the second punt of the day for the Wasps. First one in the second half. So Muncie's been more busy blocking and running pass routes as a receiver than he has a punter.
So the Quakers take over, 1st and 10, with 7:27 left in this game, trailing 40-6. And again, it'll be Caden Phillips in the gun, who's played the last several series for the Quakers. Phillips ready for the snap. The give is going to be to the running back. Spinning move off right side there is Seth Jeffries, and he will lose yardage. That's a common theme today. He'll lose yardage back to the 10. A loss of 2.
Yeah, a loss of 2. And in on that tackle is number 30, Hartley Hilton out of Rosedale, out of Honeacre High School. Hartley is a sophomore.
Gary, the yardage is really hard. This is a comparison of 571 to 71 right now. I don't think I've ever seen that disparity that large in the game.
If it stays, this will be the second game in a row the Quakers have been under 100 yards.
Phillips with time. He'll look to throw from his end zone. Looks down the middle, and the pass is intercepted. Going the other way is Tyler L. Meckenheimer. Inside the 40 to the 30. Meckenheimer with a block. Inside the 25, down to the 22. Meckenheimer, the sophomore from Roanoke, he gets in on the action with the interception.
Meckenheimer is playing this corner over here. He came off of the corner route to the middle of the field and tracked that ball down. And I'm telling you, if Meckenheimer had not have been there, that would have been 6 because he had gotten behind both safeties. And Meckenheimer kind of rolling with the quarterback, comes over and makes the grab. I love this sideline here. They've given him the belt, and now they're taking fake photos of Meckenheimer.
3rd interception for this Emory and Henry secondary on the day.
Yeah, as they celebrate the moment.
So the Wasps take over after about the 25-yard return from Meckenheimer. They'll have it at the Guilford 22. 4 wide for Steele. Tester to his right. Steele's going to throw. Takes off and runs with it. Steele to the 20. Steele to the 15. To the 10. It's 1st and goal. Steele right up the gut. Down to the 7. Gain of 15.
Well, as I said earlier, they have spread this Quaker defense out to stop these sweeps. And, of course, you don't account for the quarterback when you're trying to stop the run, and he sneaks right up through the middle.
1st and goal now for Emory at the Guilford 7. 6:12 to go in this one. And Emory looking to score again.
Got Jordan in the slot. This was a combination last week.
Steele will take off and run again. This time not as much running room there. He'll get maybe to the 6-yard line before he's dropped on the play by, I believe, Petaway again.
Last week, Steele hit Devontae Jordan for a touchdown, and they got Jordan in the slot, TJ in the backfield, so may see something similar. And they've got Patton out here as a wide receiver.
2nd and goal for the Wasps at the Guilford 6. Steele with twin backs and 3 receivers. Steele, busted play, doesn't matter. Steele takes off and scores. There was nobody there. He was looking for a fake. No one was there and said, oh, well, let me just run for the touchdown, and he goes untouched.
The same thing happened last week with Hunter Taylor. Both had 2-back offense, and both backs flared out for, Pat. Nobody took the fake, and you're kind of standing there like a Statue of Liberty. And I think the Quakers were even kind of mystified by that, and so Steele takes it into his own hands, scampers around that left sideline or the sideline, and go for 40. 6 now to 6.
Doherty to hold. Baber for the PAT. Snap is down. Baber's kick on the way is good. And with 5:32 to go, the Wasps well on their way to 3-0 in this spring season as they lead this one now 47-6.
Josh, just a reminder to our fans and our listeners, it is our last day of fundraising for WEHC, and I know you've got some phone numbers over there. That,
yes, I do, yes. And if you'd like to make a pledge, we would really appreciate it. This would be a great chance to make a pledge with the spring fundraiser. The phone number is 276-582-0907. Again, that's 276-582-0907. Or you can go online at WEHCFM.com and select Make a Gift.
And if you're an Emory Henry supporter of this football program, and we know there are a bunch of you out there that are solid supporters, we hope you'll support this broadcast and the radio station as we partner with the football program to bring you these broadcasts. So please make a pledge. It is well worth it.
And if you want to run a day sponsor, it's just a payment of $90.70. Addison nicely, first time he's teed off one, and he actually kicks it, and it will go out of bounds at the 8-yard line and strikes the referee up in the face. It's a rough bounce there off the turf.
Third kickoff today to go out of bounds for the Wasps, and boy, you know that will not go down easy with Coach Newsom. It's one thing that he was worried about, Josh, the first of the year, about the fact he had so many new, kickers, punters, snappers, holders, and so still struggling a bit with their special teams.
And certainly that'll be probably one of the many areas of focus here over the next 3 weeks for this group. So with that being said, 1st and 10 for the Quakers as they start things at their own 35.
Now,
and they've got a new quarterback in.
This
is, I believe, is trying to see here.
It's 14. It's Foster.
Dashavius Foster will take the can off. That's the 3rd quarterback into the game now for the Quakers.
And he's a freshman, but we don't have any information about
where
he's from.
Yeah, gain of 6 for Foster, who's now the 3rd QB in this game for the Quakers. They'll bring up 2nd and 4. Foster will be in the gun. Foster gives the handoff right up the middle, dive forward, and close to a first down, and having the first down for Guilford will be Joseph Brown, and that is just the 5th first down of the game for the Quakers.
That's the first down this half.
Yep.
They had 4 first downs in the first half. It's the first one in this half, and comes with the ground game. So,
and just 4:45 left in this one. So first down and 10 for the Quakers at their own 45. Foster will be in the gun with 4 wide. Foster gets the snap. It'll be his first attempt through the air. Foster rolling, still rolling, being chased. Rolls to the right sideline, then slings it, and then it goes out of bounds, incomplete. He's chased there the entire way by Jalen Wiley. Wiley ran from sideline to sideline there and almost got to him. Pass goes incomplete.
Yeah, and Jordan Mighty was in there too, chasing him down, but just nowhere to throw it. He had one receiver down that sideline, but he was well covered and just nowhere to throw the ball.
Brings up 2nd down and 10 for the Quakers. Ball rested at their own 45. Foster again stays in the gun, 3 wide. Foster throws it out in the flat. Pass is caught out there at the 43. And a nice tackle on Purnell by the Emory and Henry defense there. Coming up there was Addison nicely, dropping him for no gain.
Nicely started the game at that safety position, and then Crimes came in, took him out, but now he's back in. Nice tackle, nice hustle up to the line of scrimmage to make that tackle after the throw.
Brings up 3rd and 10 for the Quakers as we're under 4 minutes left in this one. As Emory and Henry has led throughout, they lead at 47-6. Foster will be in the gun, 4 wide. 1 back to his left, that's Joseph Brown. 4 down lineman for the Wasps. Foster drops back, blitz up the middle. Foster throws behind the receiver, and understandable since he had 2 linebackers up in his face as he got off that pass, falls incomplete at the 45.
Yeah, just no time whatsoever to make that throw. So, and with all that, it's a delayed blitz that the Wasps run, and they just, there's an inexperienced offensive line cannot pick that blitz up.
So, yet again, it will be Ratliff to punt. No rush by Emory. Actually, no new kicker in there for Guilford. And we'll get the name here as it's dropped at the 29-yard line. First punt of the day. We don't know.
Yeah,
we're guessing that it. We're not sure. We don't have a 99. Well, we'll get it for you. We promise. I think everybody's looking at they're looking at their rosters, and we don't have a 99. But nonetheless, the punt goes down to the 29-yard line. It's a punt of 26. And Emory will come out with what might be their last series here of the game offensively. And it's been Steele, and boy, he doesn't look like a freshman, Gary. He looks really calm out there.
And he looks very calm, and looks like he's been there before.
1st and 10 from the 29. Steele in the gun. Give to Tester. Tester gets off right tackle to the 30. Spin move. Nice move by TJ Tester. Oh, and he's one tackle away from a big gain. He still gets up to the 39, and that should be a first down. It will be.
Josh, that's going to be close to taking them over 600 yards on this day offensively. So, 600-yard day versus
79.
79. That is quite a margin.
Yeah. And Emory approaching some. Interesting to see what the record is on the ground for rushing right now. Steele throws it out in the flat to Kosey at the 40. Kosey with his first reception. Nice run by Kosey. He's got a first down into Guilford territory at the 48, gain of 12.
Well, when you've got Gunnar Griffith and Elijah Jordan and Kashawn Kosey, it's trying to find his space in here. And Josh, he's a good receiver. He's not very big, but boy, he can run once he catches the ball.
Nice catch out there in the flat. And it'll be a first down pickup for the Wasps to the Guilford 48 as we approach 2:30 left in this one. Steele will be in the gun with 3 wide. Steele, late give to Jordan. Jordan to the 45-40. Jordan with a head of steam to the 30. Devontae Jordan inside the 25, and this is going to be a face mask on top of it as the flag comes down at the 20, but there's also a flag in the interior backfield as well.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to have a hold against the Wasps, but Jordan just turns on the Jets. I'm telling you, he makes things happen out there.
Could be offsetting penalties here for these two teams. Flag in the vicinity of holding, and then certainly as Jordan was gaining extra yards, looked like his face mask was grabbed at the 20. So with all that being said, we just may have this whole series wiped out. There is a hold and a face mask on Guilford, and they will offset.
Now, I'm telling you what, if anybody's got a beef about penalties today, it's got to be Deontay Jordan. That's the second big run he's had that's come back after a penalty. So what do you guys got against me here?
So that we'll go back to the regular scrimmage here, line of scrimmage. It's the 47. The clock will be on the move. 2:17 is a light drizzle has made its way here to Fred Self Athletic Stadium's Nice Wander Field.
Yeah.
Steele in the gun with 2 backs on 1st and 10. Steele will take his own number. Steele to the 45, and then he's actually tackled at the 42. Emory wants a flag. Looked like he was taken out well out of bounds, but no flag comes down on the play.
Well, I hate to see that kind of tackle, Josh, because it's close to a horse collar. And, boy, you're talking about taking out your knees. That kind of tackle can. So I hate to see that on a sideline tackle like that. But he's good to go.
Gain of 5 brings up 2nd and 5 for the Wasps at the Guilford 42. 1:59 left in this one. Steele in the gun. Play action. Rolls to his left. Takes off and runs with it. Steele is wrapped up. Now run versus field. Goes to the right side. The 45-40. Steele with a nice block by Jordan. Inside the 30. And it's a first down. Devontae Jordan with a nice block. Sends a defender flying. That's a gain of 12.
And they're eating it up on this Emory Henry sideline. They're more excited about that block that Jordan got than they are about the reverse field Trevon Steele for the first down. But that's one of those decleaters.
The 30th first down of the game comes with 1:37 to go for Emory and Henry as they lead at 47-6. And it's been all fun for the blue and gold today. Steele in the gun with 3 wide. Steele up the middle to Tester. Tester off right tackle. Gets 1, maybe 2 to the 28. Wasps at 6:36 overall and 3:56 on the ground. And again, you see those types of numbers out of W&L, out of the option offense, or someone that runs that option, triple option.
Yeah, but you've got 280 to add to it from through the air. So
2nd and 8 from the 28. They give us to Tester, trying to get the outside speed run to the 25 to the 20. TJ Tester has a first down inside the 20, down to the 17-yard line, and TJ Tester now up to about 83 yards on the day.
Well, again, the Wasps taking it wide here. The Quakers looked like they had that shut down for a little bit, but not anymore. It's either Jordan or Tester around the end. If it's not them, it's Steele.
So the Wasps will have it 1st and 10 at the 17 with 53 seconds left in this one. Steele will be in the gun with 3 wide. Backs to either side. Steele. Give to Jordan. Jordan cuts upfield, gets inside the 15, stays on his feet, still stays on his feet, goes backwards. They've got him by the shirt, and he's still going, and he finally goes down for a loss of 2. So an exciting 2-yard loss there, if you want to call it that, for Jordan. And the Wasps do not have to run another play.
Yeah, I think Devontae Jordan there was trying to run out the clock on that one. He just wouldn't go down. Yeah, it looks like they'll just sit on it here and call it a day.
Well, a definitive 3rd win for Emory and Henry. Final score final yardage in this one, 644 to 79, as Emory and Henry, in dominating fashion today, win this one 47 to 6. And the Wasps go to 3-0 on this season. And Gary, what can you say? I mean, you've got so many things to talk about, which we will. But first thing that I have up that comes up is good to see this offense look about as good as it has all spring.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, the first thing I have to say is I can't wait till September. I mean, if this is what we've got to look forward to with all this talent, and I am so glad to see that the offensive coaching staffs kind of put this together, because this was a concern for Newsom that how do I get Jordan, how do I get Overstreet, how do I get Tester, how do I get Rice and Hunter Taylor involved in this offense to where it's percolating all over the field. And today, well, I mean, you look at it, Josh, 280 yards in the air and 364 on the ground. I'd say that you've mission accomplished there.
Yeah, and it's an amazing game, because this game, started off slowly, for the Wasps.
Mm-hmm.
They had to settle for a field goal. They struggled a little bit in the red zone. It was a 10-0 game, and Guilford, they scored early part of the second quarter. It was a 10-6 game, and really since that point, I mean, it was Emory and Henry from then on out. I mean, it was 10-6. It ends up being 47-6.
Well, as you said before, the turning point, Ivan Phillips racing 90 yards seemed to be the turning point. But really and truly, I say that a little bit in jest. I mean, they really, in that second quarter, started, they got that running game going, and they could not, the Quakers could not stop that sweep. They bring up those safeties to the inside. They're within 6 yards of the line of scrimmage, and you put those 2 corners out there on Gunnar Griffith and Elijah Rice. What do you expect? And so they were just outmanned, outgunned. Too much of the field they had to cover.
Yeah, and the numbers speak to themselves. Overstreet played about a half, and he had 19 carries for 109 yards and 2 touchdowns. TJ Tester, nice game for him, 12 carries for 82. Talik Steele had 11 carries for 82 yards. Devontae Jordan had 9 carries for 56. Hunter Taylor, meanwhile, had 6 carries for 36 as well. And you think, well, let's just go and stop the run. Oh, Elijah Rice, 6 receptions, 199 yards and a touchdown. And then you've got Muncie with 3 catches, Gunnar Griffith with a touchdown, Kashawn Cozy with a reception, Tester, Patton. I mean, it is just your stat list becomes 3 pages. When you get everybody involved like that.
Well, yeah, and you talk about that offense and all those numbers, and you turn over and look at the other side. They were 1 for 13 on third down today, Josh. 1 for 13. That's 8%. 46 plays they ran, 79 yards. It's 1.7 yards per play. You just, they had, 87 yards against the Randolph-Macon. And let's make sure we point this out. That's 87 yards with the defensive line playing the offensive line. Today they had them back, and they got 79 yards.
Yeah, 79 yards and negative 9 yards rushing in the game.
And if I'm one of those defensive linemen that played last week or 2 weeks ago, I'd have to say it wasn't me. You guys, I did what I could, but that's just a phenomenal performance by the defense.
Yeah, and it's just, you just don't see that much one-sided on total offense. Normally when you see 500 or 600 yards, you see the other team with 500 or 600 yards, or you'll see 300 to 200.
It's usually a track meet.
Right.
You usually have track meets or you have slugfest, you
right.
know. And today it was track meet and a slugfest on the other side.
Yeah, you run a 100-yard dash and then go into a fight, right after that. 5 first downs for Guilford today, just 5. The Wasps, this is probably, boy, you have to mark this down. This might be close, when Newsom's been here, but almost 39 yards of total offense today. 39 minutes of total offense.
Oh, you mean time of possession?
Time of possession,
yeah,
I should say.
It's only about 21 minutes for the Quakers. I mean, that defense, they need to let them on the bus first.
Yeah.
When they head back over to Greensboro. It's just such domination. I know we played Guilford here, about 2 or 3 years, I can't remember, but 2 or 3 years ago, and it turned out to be 70.
Yep, 70-27, I think.
Yeah, but even that, they had the yards.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't shut out like this defensively, the way they were today. We got 3 picks from that secondary, and those were good picks. There were open people that what I saw there was some breaking on the ball that I've not seen before with some of our secondary. Breaking on the ball, closing in on it, and taking it away from the receiver. Linebackers playing lights out. But that, to me, again, that front, Bear, Shambliss, Penick, Schweigheimer, with what he had 6 or no? What did he have? 3 sacks today?
Yes, had 3 sacks, 4 tackles for loss in this one. Just all over the place. This Wasp group had 7 sacks as a group in this one. Gassert for Guilford, just 88 yards through the air. He was 6 of 16, had 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions. Phillips actually was 0 for 3 and threw a pick as well. Their leading ground gain was just 14 yards from Strong Jr. And Russell only the 1 catch all day for 46 yards. So the Wasps did a good job on him overall. And Hunter Taylor, good to see him have a strong effort today. 11 of 17, 246 through the air, 2 touchdowns. And Talik Steele comes in, 3 of 5 for 34 yards. Yeah, he did have the interception at the end, but, just one of those things that can happen. But, overall, if you're grading this offensive effort today, you've got to give an A on this one.
Oh, you do, and they hit some of the very things that Newsom was concerned about, the inconsistent Hunter getting on track, figuring out how to use all this talent, and they checked every box today as far as I can see.
So the scene now shifts to an unknown at this point. So the Wasps have done everything they can do on their end. They are 3-0, and as we mentioned, the WNL has opted out of the season, so that means that the game on the 26th will not take place. So really, Emory and Henry is going to be doing a lot of practicing, honing things in over the next 3 weeks, and doing some scoreboard watching, and certainly a lot of that over the next couple of weeks. We did mention Bridgewater and Ferrum tonight, but both of those teams are already with an ODAC loss, so they're sort of on the outside looking into this crossover championship. The 2 teams that Emory and Henry really are going to be looking at will be taking in action the next 2 weeks. You have a Hampton-Sydney team that's going to travel to Guilford, and from what we've seen today, you'd certainly think the Tigers are going to be favored in that one. You have Randolph-Macon going to Shenandoah, so you figure both of those teams will be favored next week. And then, as you mentioned, Gary, they'll face each other on the 27th at 1 o'clock. So that's really where it's going to come down to is, will either of those 2 teams, first of all, can they get to 4 games? Is going to be the question. And if they do, what happens in that 4th game? Because the winner of that 4th game in Farmville is going to be, more than likely, they'll probably be the top seed. Certainly there's point differential and some things to look at it, but they've got the inside track.
Well, they do, and they could have 4 games versus the Wasps having 3. And the other thing is the Wasps sit here for 3 weeks waiting on that because they're off. The Sydney and Macon are off this week, but they, as you said, they play Guilford, they play Shenandoah, then they play each other, and that game is not until Saturday at 1 o'clock.
Right.
And when you talk about preparing, just think about Buzzo's dilemma. You couldn't have 2 more different teams. I mean, you got 180s here. You got Sydney with Fabret that throws it all over the field. You have to defend the entire field, and then you've got Pedro Aruza at Randolph-Macon that's going to grind out that ground game. He's going to bring those big offensive linemen in there and run that unbalanced line. And then he's going to bootleg you and to throw that to his tight end more than any team in the ODAC uses his tight end. So, I got to defend against Sidney or Macon, the ground game versus Fabret and his pass-happy, although they have run the ball more this year. But anyway, the Wasps can't even think, well, okay, I got 3 weeks to prepare because they don't know who they're going to prepare for.
No, they're going to face someone, and that's really going to determine what happens on April 2nd because, if Emory and Henry is in the 1 versus 2 championship game, certainly if Emory and Henry is the number 1, we'll have that game here on April the 2nd, and certainly we'll bring that to you on 90.7 WEHC. If the Wasps are on the road, then that game will be on the road, and we will not be making, from my understanding, we'll not be making that trip unless some things change or whatnot. There's just so many unknowns right now.
According to Joe Matthews and the SID, the ODAC has decided that there will not be visiting media. So if the game turns out to be in Farmville or Ashland, then folks, I guess you'll have to listen to the live stream, and we'll be listening with you.
Absolutely, and we'll be there. And of course, again, if there is a home game here on April 2nd, and again, we won't know for a while, we'll be here with you, and we will give the call, and certainly, it's our hope that it's for the ODAC championship. That's what you want to hope at the end of this short season. You hope that this team can, wherever it might be, can play for a championship.
Yeah, and Coach Newsom told me this morning, he said, that championship might have an asterisk beside it because we're having to play in spring, shortened season and all that. But he said, I'll tell you what, this has been one of the toughest jobs I've ever had to do as coaching-wise, with the constant having the tests, the tracing, keeping these kids somewhat isolated. He said it has been a real bear to coach this, but he's so proud of his players because they have really bought in, committed themselves to this program, and boy, I think it's showing. And I tell you what, Josh, this coming fall is going to be one exciting. I can't wait for that, and don't want to wish my summer away, but I think we're going to see some excitement. Not to mention the fact you got Mike Gentry and that strength and conditioning. These guys are going to be, who knows what they'll look like come spring or come fall. But there's some exciting times here with Emory Henry football. It is, and you love to see the success. They're really built on what they had a year ago. Wasps went 2 years ago. Wasps went 7-3. A lot felt, including most of the, probably all of the Emory and Henry folks. And Coach Newsom really felt that should have been a 9-1 season, in retrospect. And, certainly you're really seeing the Wasps take that next step. They really are. Even in a shortened season, you could see that this is a championship-looking team. It really is all the way around. I would say the one glaring weakness right now is the special teams. Right. But so hopefully that's going to be something they shore up over the summer with more practice, more time, but on both sides of the ball, defensively and offensively, it is what you say. It is a championship-looking team, and there's so much more confidence, so much more. They have this feel of confidence, and some football teams, Josh, you get these teams that just don't think they can lose. We don't care what you put those score again. We just don't think we can lose. Right, and you certainly see that today. So, in essence, we'll be scoreboard watching here the next couple of weeks, and we hope to be back here on April the 2nd. I know I would certainly hope for that. I know Gary Lester certainly would hope for that because that means that the Wasps could certainly be playing for a championship here in Southwest Virginia, and what better way to cap this spring season? Oh, yes, yeah, absolutely. And if not, then certainly we've enjoyed our short time with you this spring season. So certainly this could be the last time you hear from us this spring. And we've really enjoyed this. So far. Certainly it's enjoyable when you're able to see wins like this. But like Gary said, future is really, really bright for Emory and Henry this spring. And certainly, as the college transitions back to a 10-game schedule in the fall.
boy, you can't wait for that first Saturday in September too.
No, you can't. And I'm also I'm excited about going back to our roots. We talked about that SAC conference with the likes of Catawba and Lenore Ryan and Carson Newman and Mars Hill and some of those teams that Newberry. That's going to be some exciting football when you see that caliber of football.
So stay tuned. So we'll know by the 28th. I think we'll know by the evening of the 28th, and certainly if there's a home game here on April 2nd, certainly that will be publicized, and certainly that will be part of the day. So we hope to join you on April the 2nd, but if not, it's been fun this spring. Again, we want to thank Ivy Shepard, the general manager for WEHC. We want to thank Carson Love, the board operator, and Bill McKee. Also on board operator, Joe Matthews, the SID at Emory and Henry College. John Cole, the acting athletics communications director at Guilford College, and also want to thank Guilford head coach Brad Davis for taking time to meet with me this week. Also want to thank, of course, Gary Lester for all that he does to these broadcasts and what he brings to the table. And we want to thank you all for listening on a Friday afternoon. This is a wonderful commitment that you're making to the college, and especially when you're doing so on an odd day. Normally we're used to having Saturday football, but we're glad that you're listening to us on Friday afternoons. Again, we may be back on Friday, April the 2nd. No matter what, Emory and Henry will be in the crossover game, and certainly in a couple of weeks we will know more about where that game will take place, and more importantly, who that game will take place against. So, with that being said, the final score from Fred Self Athletic Stadium's Fullerton Field today, it's Emory and Henry 47, Guilford College 6. So long, everybody.